Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Chip Ginyard, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of Musician Memoirs. This is a spin-off show from the In the Pocket podcast where we tend to interview legends. Now we're going to talk about musicians that are still working, still grinding on the come up, and they have some tremendous, amazing stories that they have to share and they'd like to share. And I'd like to get their opinion about life and life on the road and off the road. So we're going to do a little spin-off show. And what better way to kick it off with my homies, my friends. These guys I've known my whole life. And I'm going to take my time. Because this is a little more informal than I've been doing with the other episodes. I interviewed Little John Roberts last week, and go check that out, episode 4 on the In the Pocket podcast. And he was telling me about the origin story, how he grew up in Philly, and Philadelphia is a great city full of talent and full of amazing musicians. I come from a smaller area. You know, my tag is 203 Chip G. 203 is for the area code for where I'm from, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Bridgeport, Connecticut is a small area, but in that small area, we are power-packed with musicians. We have amazing musicians that are known around the world, that have touched the world and have done some great things. And that just made me realize, let's do a show to highlight the people that may not get the high acclaim like the others do. Let's highlight the guys that are out there and have been working and doing great work, great jobs, on the road. And let's get to know them a little better. Let's highlight them and let them tell their story. So what better way than to start off with my homies? These guys were all close in age. We all came up together. We all started off together. And they're my closest friends. They're my close friends, like my homeboys. If I had a flat tire, I would call them. If I needed help, if I needed to borrow something, I know that these guys will have my back. And so what better way to start off than with my real friends, my true friends. So I'm going to bring to the camera my boy, Will Parker. What's up,
Yo,
Will?
what's going on, bruh?
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the show, man. Will is a seasoned musician. To be a young man, he's accomplished so much. We grew up together, and I'm not gonna say nothing about him wearing that Giants blue on my shirt and disrespect
You
on
know
my
it.
show and disrespecting me
You
like
know
that.
it.
We were in the green room talking, and I saw Will had his Giants stuff on. I said, "Hold on," and I ran to the back and went and changed and put my Cowboy stuff on because
Yes, sir.
it's Dallas Cowboys for life over here. But no, seriously, Will, thank you so much for joining, bro. I'm so honored that you would do this. You are really family to me. Like, I really consider you a brother, a friend, and a brother. And I really want you're a well-known musician. Like, you're not a person that's not known, but I want you to tell your story from your perspective, so that we, as homeboys, it'll be a more relaxed setting.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Like, we can hear who you are and where you've been
Right.
from in a personal setting, friend to friend. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We have another guy that's coming on the show. I know him pretty well as well. His name is Darnell Altman. He is
Jesus is the way, my brothers.
Jesus is the way, my
My
brother.
brothers.
We Darnell is my brother. Literally, grew up together, lived with me. We are brothers.
Yeah.
Like I have to check our blood type because I got to make sure. I think if you saw me, you saw D. And I
Yes,
and I
sir.
think growing up, I think anybody who knows Darnell knows Chip, and anybody who knows Chip knows Darnell. So
Right.
blood couldn't make us
Right.
closer. This is my brother. I love him dearly. I love both these guys dearly,
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm
Yes,
Yeah,
grateful
sir.
bro.
for these tremendously talented musicians. World known. But I want to hear their story from their perspective. So. Thank you,
Yes,
D, for
sir.
coming on. Thank you, Will,
No
for coming
doubt.
on.
It's an
We're gonna
honor,
get to
bro.
it. Yeah, man.
Yeah. It
I
definitely
think
is.
It's an
it,
honor,
it
man.
I'm grateful that you guys did it. We had our little side conversation, and I think your story just needs to be told, man. You guys have traveled the world. I don't even know how many passports y'all have, now, because y'all have. I'm still on my first one, y'all. I know
I
y'all have
know.
a couple.
I definitely went through one.
Okay, that's what's up.
I
I,
definitely
I,
went through one, and
I'm,
the second one was almost like halfway filled up.
Yeah, that's what's up. Well, how many you got?
I'm about to go into the third one.
Ooh, you got to frame them, man, and put them up
Yo,
Yeah, man.
frame them, put them up.
Yeah, man. That's exactly.
Yeah.
I keep everything, man. I keep
You keep all your
everything.
lanyards too? All
I
your
keep all my laminates from every tour that
yeah.
I've done. I, everything that I can keep from memory, I keep, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did you see the trophy challenge they were doing online where all the touring musicians were showing their tour passes, their lanyards, and they were holding them up?
I missed it, man.
Yeah. It
I
was a
missed it.
trend maybe like during the pandemic. Everybody was home. Some people were framing theirs, and then
Wow,
some people were
dude.
just like holding them up as trophies, like like
that's
all the
crazy.
tours. It was crazy.
I have
That
a
is crazy.
bunch. I have a
Yeah.
bunch,
You
man.
gotta do yours. So you put yours and use the
Definitely,
hashtag.
man.
Yeah,
That's
it's really
crazy.
crazy. So these
Yeah.
guys, like I said, we're all from the same town. Will's from Stratford, but literally 5 minutes away. But 203 nonetheless, Bridgeport nonetheless. We only had one shopping mall, so we had to go to. So it was
Yeah.
inevitable. We had one bus line, Bridgeport to Stratford. So it was Will's from Bridgeport and Stratford too. So
Uh
we'll,
huh.
we'll give them that as well. But
Yes,
we
sir.
literally came up together. What's your earliest memory of all of us? Will, I'll say you go first. Like, what's your
Ooh,
earliest memory of
man.
meeting me and then meeting D? And I know you and D. You got to tell that
I
story about you and D.
I definitely remember. Um, it was a choir anniversary at Holy Tab
Right.
on Stratford Avenue. I remember coming with one of the choirs from English Chapel, man,
Yep.
and that's where I first seen both of you guys.
Okay.
And it was kind of like a shocker for me because my church was like, I grew up in Unified Free Will Baptist,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, not a lot of great musicians, around me at that time.
Right.
Uh, and when we came out, man, it was like, yo, wait, there's other kids my age that play drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We said the same thing
Yeah.
about you.
So it
Right.
it was a shocker, man. I'm like, yo, who are these dudes, man?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Chip, I remember your gold piccolo that you had, bro.
I just sent Darnell. It was a sunlight from the
Yeah, the
Dario music.
sunlight. The sunlight.
And my dad bought it
Yeah.
for me for Christmas.
Yo,
And
after I seen that, I begged my mother, yo. I
oh
begged my mother
man,
for a snare, man. For a
Yo,
pick.
I begged my mom too. I never got it.
oh, but you had other stuff I couldn't get, so don't even try that, D. I was blessed with drum equipment, but y'all had sneakers. I never got them J's, but Darnell stayed with a fresh pair of J's. I didn't have that, but
yo.
I definitely was good for some church equipment, though. Yeah, I had that. So Darnell, what's your earliest memory of Will? Are you frozen, D? All right. I'll say the same for you, Will. I remember you coming to Holy Tab. It had to be summertime, and I think it was a choir anniversary. And in that choir anniversary, y'all was wearing robes.
Yo,
So we had to be like 10 or 12, like 10, 11, something like that. And you had a little Gumby. And I'm like, yo, who is this kid coming in with this choir robe on? Will had the robe on and was killing on drums.
yeah,
And I'm like, yo, he's my age. I'm like, yo, dude is nice. Came in with the choir robe on, just sat down and just blazed. You and I think it was Edwin Brown was
Yeah.
on organ.
Yeah.
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 So I mean, that's how far we go back, man.
Wow, man.
Yeah, D, what's your
Exactly.
story of meeting Will?
you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly how I met Will. I know, Bishop Stewart. We used to go to English Chapel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when the first time I went there and I saw Will playing, I saw him in the robe. And I was happy. I was happy number one because I'm like, listen, I ain't the only drummer that's wearing the robe.
Oh, you had a robe too, D. That's right.
Yeah, you remember? Yo,
Oh, see,
Yeah,
we didn't have
I was
robes.
like-
I think y'all joined
We had-
white.
We had
yeah,
smocks.
white and gold, yo.
See, the teen choir had kente cloth. We had kente smocks.
Wow.
Smock is a half robe, so you
You
can get away with it.
Yeah.
Will Will had the full robe, but he had the
full
adult joint.
Yo, me too, yo. Like to the point, yo, you had to take the bottom of the robe and roll them up your leg while you playing, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then
Yo,
you
they
always
were-
had
they-
that thing around your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
And
told
they were
me
hot too.
They told me if I ain't wear the robe, they wasn't letting me play, man.
See,
Yeah,
you had to
yo,
be
me too.
uniform. See,
Me
that's
too.
these young musicians don't know anything about that, bro. Like discipline, your mom had to buy your robe. You had to
Yeah, man.
And they put you on a payment plan, and you had to like pay your little dues and stuff to get your robe.
Yup.
And you had to have it by the choir anniversary. You had to get
Yeah.
measured. And
Yo, but
these
yo, hold up.
kids don't know nothing about the struggle in the 80s and
But yo,
90s, bro.
You didn't want to wear a robe. You didn't want to wear a robe, but guess what?
What?
You was mad soup though when you got your robe and it had your initials in the back of it. Had your initials in the back.
Man.
I was
I
like,
never-
yeah.
I never got the adult robe. Thank God, we had moved away from that. But the teen robe, the youth choir, I definitely had the smock and the matching ties and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You had because if you didn't have a robe, you had to have the shirt and tie, the white shirt
Yup,
with the matching
exactly.
tie.
Yeah.
Exactly,
man,
yo. But
So that's
you was
the
dressing.
community we come from. Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So D, that's your earliest memory of meeting Will.
Yeah, but and that's the first thing I noticed. But then I'm like, yo, this dude Willie was always fast. He was always fast and quick on the drums. I'm like, yo, who is this dude?
Tasmanian
You know what I'm saying?
devil fast, bro.
Yo, the tighter he closed his eyes, the faster he got. Yo. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The
And he had
I was
no
like,
fear,
yo.
no fear,
No
bro.
fear.
Like no
No
fear.
fear.
There's two musicians
No
that
fear,
grew up
yo.
that was our age that had no fear. It was Will and Billy Powell.
And Billy Powell. I knew. Yup,
No
exactly.
fear, bro. Like
Yeah.
solo,
Dude.
okay, gone.
Yeah.
Like whoa,
Shout out to my bros, the Powells. Love y'all.
yeah.
Yo, man,
Shout
for
out to the
real.
Powells. I love them, but
I love,
yo,
I love y'all, man.
Will
my
was a
brothers.
game changer because he had no fear. Now,
Yeah.
Will, what's your did you say how you met Darnell?
Yeah, I remember Bishop Stewart and him came. It was a Wednesday night service, and Darnell was sitting on the front row. He was in his black and white. Yeah, he was in his black and white. And when they caught the
Yo.
choir, I seen he had, Darnell had
Yo.
a stick bag and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, like who is this dude, man?
Yeah,
Yo.
And so, he came up and they started playing, and I was like in awe. Because, Bishop Stewart choir was dope when we,
Yeah.
they always had
Legendary.
a dope choir, man.
right.
And so, I was sitting there taking it in, and like, yo, like, I want to sound like that.
Yeah. I saw an old video in English Chapel though. Y'all used to hold it down too. I seen an old video back in the day. Y'all was like 30, 40 strong.
Yeah, man.
I saw one of them conference videos.
Back in the day, all the church choirs was huge, man.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's when we actually churches actually really fellowship.
Yeah.
That's what we used to call it. We call it fellowship.
Fellowship. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. So go ahead, D.
And it's we couldn't wait for our moment to talk. Our moment to really talk to each other is when they had the cake and punch downstairs. That's when we get the moment to really.
Yeah. Darnell keeps going in and out. So my first introduction to Darnell, I had to be. First of all, our pastors, like they said, we always fellowship, right? So Bishop Stewart and my grandfather, Bishop Holden and Bishop Stewart, we all used to fellowship, right? So we would literally, all our churches were on the same street, literally. If you think about it, it's a straight line, right? I was over the bridge, and then when you come over the bridge, you see Bishop Mo's church, and you keep going. Then you see Darnell's church. You take that right, you go to Will's church, right? So we were all right there on the same strip, 7 minutes away from each other, literally, right?
Exactly.
So our churches would fellowship all the time, and as a young kid, you love drums, right? So you're always looking at the drums, paying attention to who's playing. I would go to Prayer and Deliverance to see Solomon playing. This one time, like Solomon wasn't playing, and there was a young kid who was short, but he was good on the drums, and I'm like, who is this kid? It was Darnell. So I'm like, this dude is nice. Like, he could hold his own pocket, doing his thing. So I think we met that day, but I think we really met when the Easter concert happened at Prayer Tab, and it was at the Klein.
Yeah.
Mind you, we all dressed up in our Easter flyers. We trying to go see what girls are there, and making sure that we dressed up. I go downstairs. Wait.
I know what you about to say, yo.
That's when we broke. It was no phone, cell phone. We had pen and paper.
We had to bring a pen and pad, like a little notepad to get girls' phone numbers. Yeah, that was. We had to be like 12 or 13. I had to be like 9 or 10, right?
Yeah.
So I walked downstairs. Now, mind you, when you like 10 and 12, you got some freedom, but you really don't have no freedom. So you got to tell your mother, or your aunt, or your uncle, I'm going to the bathroom.
Exactly.
And so I said, I was with my Uncle Ricky, my late Uncle Ricky, right? And he brought me to the concert. He exposed me to music at a young age. So he brought me to the concert, and I said, can I go to the bathroom? So I go downstairs. So this is the time, because all the cool kids is downstairs. So I knew that. So I'm sneaking downstairs. I get halfway down the staircase, and I see Darnell backflipping in his suit in the basement of the Klein Memorial. I mean, like gymnast style, like in a suit with fresh shoes, because Easter, your shoes are still slippery.
Yeah, them Stacey Adams.
You got your new Stacey Adams, we had Favor back in the day, so your favorite church shoes didn't really have no scuffs on them, so I don't know how he had enough traction to be flipping like that in the basement of the church. The basement of the Klein.
Crazy, yo.
So I was like, yo, this dude is cool. And of course, when he's flipping, all the girls are going up to him like, oh my God, Darnell, that was so nice and that was so cool. How do you do that? Can you teach me how to do it? So I'm like, yo, this dude is the man. So I was like, I think I introduced myself, and we talked. From that, we have had a almost 40-year friendship. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was my intro to D. D, is your story meeting me the same way?
Yo, yeah. First of all, it was the assemblies.
Oh God.
It was the assemblies.
Wow.
All right, so let me tell you. That was the first time. The Klein was the first time me and you really got to talk or really interact.
Right.
But I will see, because Chip used to travel. He was the representative for schools. He used to go to every school.
Wow.
Because he perfect attendance. Remember, that's when you used to had perfect attendance.
I didn't have perfect attendance, but I was the rep for the school. So I started in second grade because I was a church kid and I wasn't afraid to talk in front of people. So my teacher would write me speeches and I would read them because I would be reading scriptures in church and I wasn't nervous.
Right.
So I knew how to read well, and she knew I was a church kid. So she's like, "Oh, Kevin ain't gonna be nervous, so I'm gonna have him read this poem I wrote." From
Yeah.
that, I started doing the school assemblies at my school and like doing these little things, and it got me noticed around the city. So one day, they needed somebody to represent the school to get a certificate for perfect attendance. And so I started going on these tours, bro, like literally like
Wow.
going from city to city. So I would be at Dunbar, I would be at Multicultural, I would be at Winthrop, I would be at all these schools. And that's how I met a lot of people. So by the time I got to high school, I knew everybody from all different sides of town because they knew
Right.
me from this. But go ahead, D. Oh, D froze. So
Yeah.
I went to D's school. Go ahead, D.
Yeah. So, and this one Chip had he had the kid and play high top, yo. I mean,
I
like,
remember that.
you remember that?
I
Chip, I mean,
remember
that
that.
thing
Yeah.
was like, so, you know what I'm saying, suited up. And
Yeah.
I'm like, because he used to come every year. I'm like, yo, I was jealous, yo. I was like, because we wanted any excuse to be out of school. So I'm like,
Right.
yo, how did he get to be out of school? And I literally was that kid that
Had to be in school. D's Wi-Fi is breaking up. So I went to McKinley School where Darnell was going, and he knew me from church, from Bishop Story's church. So he saw me. He saw me there and was like, "Yo,
I'm sorry, it
go
keep
ahead."
freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was actually that kid that actually had perfect attendance. Like my mother didn't play no games, yo. I had you got the chicken pox, measles, you going to school. Sit in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So Chips come suited, talk, and I'm like, yo, I know he don't got perfect attendance. And how I know is because Chip used to go to Memphis to Kojic convention every year. You know what I'm saying? For a whole week. So I know this dude don't have perfect attendance. And it
Right.
wasn't until later when me and Chip started talking, whatever, that that I found out, the rest of the
Yeah.
story. But anyway, my first introduction actually was like far as I'm playing because my late cousin Bishop Stewart
Yeah.
and Chip's grandfather were best friends. Everybody
Absolutely.
knows that. They were,
Yeah.
and always stayed at each other's churches. So, and we was always
Dog, I
we was
met my
always
wife from that. I met my wife from that connection. If you think about it.
yeah,
Wow, man.
and we was
Because-
always
Yeah.
fellowshipping together. But
Right.
at that young age, Solomon did most of the playing at my church, and Sean was doing most of the playing at Chip's church.
Right.
So we knew each other, seeing each other, but we didn't get to see each other play until it was actually our turn. And one time I went, and Chip got on the drums. I remember him getting on that silver timbre.
Yeah.
Wow,
And I'm
yo.
like, I like all this time, I'm like, I didn't know this dude could play like this, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Chip had that tongue in the corner of his mouth. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And killing, yo.
Yeah.
Killing. Meanwhile, the people at my church looking at me like, you see that?
Yo,
What
I
you
don't know
gonna
why
do?
they always
Yo.
do that, yo. Don't they
That
always
was
do that?
they always did that to us. I don't know why they made it a thing. You, Will, Smokey, Billy, like we all are the same age, and they just like, oh, he's showing out, or he's better than you.
Yeah, I never understood that in the church. They're like, yo, ooh, you see him?
Yeah.
Yeah, yo. They like, you better start practicing.
Right.
You better start practicing. I'm like, your kid, like, shut up.
All right. Well,
Wow.
thank y'all for sharing the origin story, man. So we're all from the same area in Bridgeport. Let's talk a little bit about your. Let's talk about paying dues, man. We came up from an era
Ooh.
where we had to wait, right?
We really had to wait, man.
None of us were awarded or put in the driver's seat right away. We had to,
Right.
be at every
Right.
service, and if we
Yes.
got 5 minutes to play, we were good.
We had
And then all of us have gotten a tap on the shoulder too, right? The
Yes.
Oh
slide
man,
over.
what?
yes.
So talk about paying dues, man.
They didn't even tap me on the shoulders. They would just come snatch the sticks out my hand.
That's the stick, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yo, but I'm
Yeah.
playing. Like, nah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
So I remember, man, I remember so many times, man, especially, during convention time, you want to get a little burn.
Yeah.
Nobody show up on time, so you think you about to play devotion service.
Yeah.
You start counting off, and
Yo.
then somebody snatching the stick out your hand.
Yeah. Legit. That's real,
Facts.
man.
Facts, yo.
That's real.
Yo, same thing, yo. Like, I remember Solomon used to be late sometime. And I'm like, all right, I'm good. This is my moment. And like Will said, it's like, soon as you about to start that song, and you know, y'all remember we had a side door
Yeah.
at my church, a
Yeah.
side door. So Solomon used to knock on the door, whoever's over there, Sam or whoever's over there, let him in. And like
Yeah.
Will said, yo, just take the sticks, yo. I'll be, yo, you be so mad for the rest of the service, like,
Man, listen.
you know what I'm saying?
Dog.
And
Yeah, it has happened to all of us. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
being early on purpose. My parents had to.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were the people that did the registration for the committee for the convention, so we had to be there early. We would drive from Bridgeport to New Haven to be at Trinity Temple early. So I'm thinking, nobody's gonna be there at this time. Chris Brown was the drummer, and James Jones was the drummer, right? And then
Wow.
Dimitri Horton was the drummer. So I was like fifth because Adam was ahead of me. So it was all those guys ahead of me, and then I was like fifth to wait to get to play at the major convention. So I'm waiting my turn, and then they're all late. So, if you get to play for like prayer, because playing for prayer was a thing. Like if you got to just do cymbal swells and whatever, you was happy, and then you would slide off. So then if prayer was over, and then they started that first devotional song like halfway through, then like by 7:35, people was walking in, and that's when you get that tap, like
that tap.
slide on over.
Yeah.
Yep, that good old tap. Yeah, man. Your feelings was crushed too, man.
But how strong did that make us? How did that prepare us?
Dude, let me go ahead.
Okay, but go ahead, Will.
Let me tell you, dude, it was so bad, yo. I still remember Skeety, because Skeety was the one that was before us.
Right.
So Skeety would come in, and his grandfather Bishop Burdo, Skeety, he is like, oh, Skeety here, like it's like, man. And so literally, like you said, I would sit on the front row and wait, like hoping he had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Just hoping he was leaving early, and it just happened. Like there were so many other drummers that would come along, and you would just literally be sitting there like waiting to play. And I know for me, it was the end of the service when they opened up the doors of the church. And they
altar call, you got altar call, Will?
I got the altar call song, man. And all the other cats didn't want to play it. They was all outside,
Yep.
So that was the time that they would give me, until this one time where we went and nobody showed up for whatever reason. And I started to play it, man. And when they heard me play it, it was like, yo, like, are you kidding me? He sounds like the older guy.
Yeah, he's for real.
Right.
And that was the introduction into them giving me some time to play.
Got some burn.
Yeah.
D, what's your story?
What's well, mine's happened more so when like Solomon was doing most of the playing. And we know Solomon had a serious pocket. Like his pocket was crazy. Mine's happened when I left prayer and deliverance. And actually, I started traveling with friends where Mike Clemens, the Dream Team, Mike Clemens, Rick Lord.
Oh, so your mind got open,
Yeah, my mind got open,
okay.
and I was actually singing. I was singing in the choir.
We were singing.
We were singing. Me and Chip, we the two short dudes in the choir singing.
Getting no burn. Had to sing tenor.
Right, singing tenor, paying our dues.
Paying our dues. You're right.
And we would get yelled at, me and Chip, because we're musicians. We would get yelled at because we're singing, but we're constantly looking back at the musicians.
Yeah.
And Ricky would yell at us like, "Pay attention!"
Watch me.
Slapped his hand. Yeah, pay attention. You know what I'm saying? So, but we absorbed and learned so much. I mean, first of all, me and Mike, we come from the same church anyway.
Full gospel.
So as a kid, Full Gospel. My mother was at Full Gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
My father being from Bishop Store Church. You know what I'm saying? I was always back and forth.
Yeah.
So I grew up underneath Mike anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Until my mother got old, then my mother left Bishop Plumbers.
Yeah.
And went to Bishop Stores, but for a little while I was there. So but anyway, so being in friends, absorbing all that, Tom, like I said, Mike Clemens, Rick Lord, Keith, you know what I'm saying, Nate Clemens.
That progressive music opens your mind up.
It opened my mind up so much. Like the first time we saw me and Chip, we saw Nate Clemens bring a Moog
Yeah, it
move
changed my life,
bass.
bro. I told him
Yeah,
that.
yo, I thought it was a spaceship. Yo, I never
Yeah,
saw
Wow.
anything
yeah.
or heard anything like that, man. It was like, what? Like,
Because
you
our
know what I'm
churches were
saying?
mostly organ and drums, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have no
Right,
keyboards. There was no piano. You
right,
know, I don't know if you had a guitar player, but it was
Nah,
straight
we
right,
had
organ. And the
nothing.
piano was
right,
on the other side of the church, and it was out of tune.
Mm-hmm.
right.
So there
Mm-hmm.
was
So
no concept of a band. It was a two piece. That was
exactly,
it.
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. So
Yeah.
so when I came back after the friends era, when I came back to Bishop Story Church, I never forget when I got on the drums. The first time I got on the drums, like the whole church just like stopped.
Yeah,
They stopped
yeah,
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 like I remember my
Mm-hmm.
cousin like Reggie Stewart, Bishop Stewart, sorry,
yeah.
he was
And you were like 13,
like
14, right? You had to be like,
yeah,
yeah,
like something like that. He couldn't
Wow.
believe it. Like he like basically like, yo, what got
yeah,
into you? You know
yeah.
what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And from that point on,
Your mind was open. Yeah,
it was a wrap. I mean,
yeah,
Solomon, of course, Solomon still was playing, but it was a wrap after that. We shared most of the load
yeah.
Yeah.
after that. So that's
I
how
got
that's how.
I got my chance when people started families. So everybody was young in their teenagers in their early 20s. But once cats started getting married and having families, they started coming to church less and less.
Right,
And
Right.
that gave me, I definitely was at church every time the doors open. So
Yeah.
right,
being available, right? You always get your opportunity from being available. So
right,
I got my opportunity, when people started their families and started moving out and doing different things, and because I was there and I was exposed to what Darnell was exposed to, my
right.
mind was open. Have y'all ever got dissed, curved real bad in the
Oh yeah,
service?
Dog.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Yo, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna tell you, I want to give my cousin Bishop Reginald Stewart the utmost credit and respect.
Yeah,
For those who don't know who Bishop Stewart is, Reginald Stewart is. First of all, he was before his time.
yeah,
He was before his time playing. Like I promise you, um, I think my aunt or somebody showed me a tape of Bishop Stewart, Bishop Reggie Stewart playing at 18, 19,
yeah,
and stuff he was doing then was just and
Wow.
phenomenal,
yeah,
phenomenal. And and as far and this goes back to music directors that actually taught choirs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like they grew up in the church, and you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
And I got to give him all the credit in the world because he yelled at me through stuff,
yeah,
smack to this day. I'm 41 years old. To this day, let somebody smack the organ when I'm playing. You'll still see me do this. Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
It's a totally different day, bro. Totally different
Dude.
day. So, Will,
So
what's your story? Your curve story?
a lot of people don't know that at one point, when I was coming up,
I
my
pro-
family moved to Palm Beach.
all right.
We went to
Wow.
Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was in Florida for a little while, and we started attending this church called Mason Temple,
Wow.
and the pastor there his name was Elder James, man, and we had this guy named Brother Malcolm who was the drummer there, but when Malcolm didn't show up, they knew I would always sit behind Malcolm, and they knew that I can play a little. And so they were training me, man. And I remember they started singing this real fast congregational song, man.
Mm-hmm.
And my feet were barely reaching the pedal at
Yeah.
this time, man. And
Right.
so, man, he was drilling me. He was like trying to force me to play four on the floor, but my foot was barely reaching. And so I remember, at one point, Brother Malcolm walked in, and they were singing this song for so long that my feet really couldn't even go no longer, man. And I remember the pastor turning around going, he went sick on me, bro.
Oh
He
man.
went sick on me, and I started crying, dude.
Yeah. Oh.
I started
No,
crying
it happens.
to the
Yeah.
point where, Brother Malcolm, he was trying to encourage me, like, nah, keep going. You sound good. And I just got up and let him start playing, man. And I never forget, man. My father was so pissed off, man.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't he wasn't a church goer like that. So
Right.
I
Right.
remember getting in the car, and my father was flipping. He
Yeah.
was talking to my mom. He was like, "Yo, if he ever do that to my son again," and it was. But I knew, it was one of those things that if I was gonna be like that, they wouldn't never allow me to play. And so,
Right.
Sean said, "Don't say Brother Malcolm no more."
Who said that, Sean?
Sean, Brother Malcolm.
Brother Malcolm. Yo.
I'm looking at the comments, man. Everybody's in there. What's up, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. I see Tavari's in here. Pastor Sean is in here. Natalie Wilson is in here. What up, Nat?
Wow.
Hey, Nat.
Royalty. Nat, we owe you so much. I got to get you on the show, Nat.
SOP changed my life in New Haven.
Changed my life, hands down.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
My life in New Haven.
Absolutely.
But my second embarrassing moment was when I started playing at Bishop Mo's church. And y'all know that I came from like the Unified Free Will Baptist, and we did everything fast.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
shout music was like, you couldn't literally keep up.
Like 170.
Yeah.
But I remember cousin Martin. God bless my cousin Martin Parker, man.
Yeah, man.
Who just transitioned.
Yeah.
He came and got me one week to Steve Hayward. Steve started driving the armored truck.
Ooh.
Right.
And he had to work on the weekend, so they didn't have no drummer this one Sunday. And Martin literally came to English Chapel and was like, "Yo, you gotta come with me." And he asked my mom. They brought me over to the tab, and I started playing because I would go with Martin. That
was your first gig outside of your church?
That was
my
tab? First gig outside of my church, dude.
Wow.
And so what happened was I would go with Martin on Sunday afternoons and watch him and Steve and Sig and everybody and William. And so I kind of knew their flow.
Yeah.
And then I came, I played, and then they started shouting. And I started playing fast, and Bishop Mose walked over and stopped the whole.
Yeah.
He stopped the whole thing, and he said to me, he said, "Son, I don't know where you come from, but here we Pentecostal." He said, "You got to slow that thing down, yo."
You had that apostolic beat.
Listen,
that storefront joint.
I wish I was yo, man. I wanted to stick my head in my so bad, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bishop Mose, he got all of us like that, definitely. But my embarrassing situation happened at Prayer Tab as well. So the Jamboree Choir. I don't know if you remember. They used to have the youth. So before Cream and Youth Week, they used to have the Jamboree.
Wasn't Jerome over that? Jerome was over that. Jerome Lord.
So Jerome was over it, and they would have the dopest musicians come in. They would have the dopest singers, and they would open their church, the youth department, for people from the outside to come in. And they would have songwriters come in and teach songs. So my Uncle Ricky was one of the dopest songwriters in the area.
Yes, sir.
So they brought my Uncle Ricky in to teach a song. Now I'm like 12, 13, just enough to be like, okay, Chip is coming. Like he on his way. Chris Brown is the man in our city.
Yes.
Yes. He is Mr. Pocket. I'm talking Orange Piccolo sir. Chris.
Yes, sir.
Pearl Pedal Chris. Wait. Playing with one, bringing the shoe, Chris.
Bring another shoe.
Dave Weckl stick, Chris. This is Chris is the man in our city. Army Jacket, Chris. Mob Deep and Redman, Chris. You know what I'm saying? He was early 92, 93. That's what I'm talking. I get a chance to play. First of all, when you play, you bring all your gear. Chris had everything there, but I don't know why I brought all my stuff. So one song, and you bring. I brought my sunlight, my pedal, my sticks, my snare, I mean, you would think. And sunlight wasn't a dope snare; it was a low end snare, but for whatever reason, people liked it. It was like gold chrome or something. I don't know what it was.
And not too many people had piccolos like that. So you know what I'm saying? Back then,
right? So I got the opportunity to play. So Uncle Ricky says. No rehearsal, right? Niggas didn't rehearse back in the day, right? So he's like, we gonna do the song, and the beat goes like this. So he sang the song to me, and I had never heard it before, but it was a churchy, shouty song, and it was "I'm Going All the Way." He later recorded it.
Yeah.
So we did "I'm Going All the Way," right? So I'm playing, and I get through the song, right? But for whatever reason, they start shouting after the song, and I'm tired. I'm done. So Total Drag City comes. So I'm like, it goes from like I'm trying to keep up, bro. And my little 12-year-old arms and Jerome Lord, I let him know every time I see him because he embarrassed me so bad, bro. Jerome Lord looked over and pointed at Chris and said, "Get him off the drums. Get him off."
Yeah.
It was like 500 people in there, dog. I was like, and it was one of those joints where you go for you hear the beat, and it'll be nothing, and then the other drummer get off, get up, get up. Oh my god, it was so embarrassing. I cried. It was a Sunday. I think I cried till I had to go to school the next day.
Oh man, yo.
He got me so bad. But you know what? I said, I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna practice, and I'm gonna show him. And later, me and Rome are real cool now. But I'm like, yo, you literally broke my heart, dog. Like you embarrassed me so bad. But it helped make me a tougher musician. But that's paying our dues, man.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yo, Chip wouldn't talk to Rome.
Nah, I was mad at Jerome for years.
For years,
that
was funny, yo.
Yeah, he played me, but we cool now.
So let me ask you guys something. I know Chip is the facilitator for that.
No, it's all good.
But let me ask you guys: is there a kid that was our age that influenced you to want to be better?
All of y'all.
And I'm going somewhere with this. I just want to ask y'all before I say something.
All of y'all. I think because they made it competition. I would go to New Haven and go to Colin Haywood's church, and Smoke would be there. And even Joel Pullen, right? He played drums. So being in Trinity Temple, we didn't at the convocation, we didn't get no run. We would be sitting. It'd be Adam.
Wow.
It would be Joel Pullen. And it would be myself sitting on the sideline, and in front of us it would be James Jones, Chris Brown, and Dimitri Horton. And then before that it was Chucky Brewer. Bishop Brewer was the drummer when they had the brown pearl with the gold hardware.
Yeah.
So, Chuck was the man, and then he passed it down to Chris, and then James, and then Dimitri, and then finally I got a chance to play, offering or devotion or something like that. It would be so bad, bro. There would be no snare. Because that was the era when everybody was taking their snare.
I was taking it, yeah.
So I would play the floor tom, dog. I would move the floor tom.
Oh my God,
yo. Yeah, remember that, yo. You just wanted to play.
You just wanted to play. So like, what a mighty God. Doom, 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 doom.
Yo, you ain't never lie, yo.
So those are the things that we went through, man. Those are the things that we went through. What age did you think you were good? Oh, finish your point, Will. I want you to finish your point.
So no, that's exactly where I'm going. So,
okay.
At this, I'm about 12, 13.
Yeah.
At this age. And it's the Easter concert. And they have James Hall and Worship and Praise there.
Oh,
right.
And so I'm literally waiting to see Jeff Davis walk through the door. And Eddie comes in. Eddie Hayward comes in, and I'm like looking at Eddie like, yo, who's this dude? You know what I'm saying?
With little gray patches in his hair.
Eddie had the glasses. He had a snare up underneath his arm. And so I asked him, I'm like, are you carrying Jeff's drum or, what's going on? And he's like, no, I'm playing tonight. He was real cool. And so, I'm like, yo, this kid gonna suck. You know what I'm saying? And when Eddie started playing the drum, I immediately started crying.
Yeah.
I just started crying because he was that good. I was like, yo, man, I thought I was good. I suck.
And
it goes from that to like anger, right? It's like, because you don't know how to deal with your emotions, right? So you don't, at that age, you get mad or like embarrassed, like, oh my God. You don't see it as motivation just yet. You see it as like, dang, this dude just crapped on me. Like, and he don't even know you. He just doing his job.
He had no idea.
Nope.
That he was doing that to me, right? Until afterwards. And I was like, yo, when he finished, I just introduced myself to him and I was like, yo, you're really, really, really good. And it took me about a month to like just get that out of my head. But it was a motivation thing for me that made me start going to the basement and practicing. Like I literally had my mother buy the cassette tape. Because it was still tapes at that time.
Yeah.
It was King of Glory.
Yeah.
And
you on that first one, but the Guys in Control album messed me up because I remember having that cassette tape and it said his name and his age in there, right?
Yeah.
It said his age. Yeah. I'm like, yo, they put his age in the credits.
Yo, me and Chip used to sit in his room and read those credits.
Me too, dude.
We used to read those. Me and Chip used to be like, yo, ain't no way he's 12. He was 12. I think
he was 12. I'm like, ain't no way he's 12 years old. God is in control. I'm like, nah.
My feelings were so hurt.
And I actually see, I was blessed to have an outgoing mother. Like she was traveling, singing herself.
Uh-huh.
So my mother would actually go to institution. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
And to those
man.
concerts, and you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I remember meeting Eddie. It was in a bathroom. Was in
Wow.
the bathroom,
Wow, man.
and that's when back in the day, our suits, everything was baggy, yo.
Yeah.
Eddie had the baggy purple suit, a purple
Wow.
blazer on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Them glasses, and
Yeah.
I look next to me. I'm like, we both kids, but
Yeah.
I'm still starstruck over another kid.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you Eddie from the album, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you said, cool, you know what I'm saying, met, and from that day on, we was cool, became real cool, and later on started doing the same concerts, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, things like that, you know what I'm saying, but another one, besides y'all, of course, was definitely Smokey.
Yeah.
Now, everybody, if you know Bishop Store Church back in the day, Bishop
New
Store
growth.
Church and
Oh
New Grove,
yeah.
we
Yeah.
stayed together.
Right.
We
Right.
stayed together, yo. You know what I'm
Right.
Shout
saying?
out Smoke, man. Smoke.
Shout out to
Yeah,
my boy
man.
Smokey, yo.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Killer.
Smokey had a pocket like
Yes,
they
he
could
did,
do.
yo.
Yeah,
Like he was
Oh
a
yo.
my
30,
God.
he was a 36-year-old man with a
Yeah,
job.
yo.
Listen.
Yeah, yo. And he was the only young dude that had a gold tooth at 12, 13. Had a
Yo.
gold tooth.
Yeah.
Yo. And that's when they used to do that we go to war, show Christ, do the yeah, Smokey. Yo, he didn't move.
Nah.
Dog.
George didn't let him move though. George had them.
Oh my
George had
God,
him,
yo.
Dominic,
yeah,
and Smoke locked.
yeah,
George
yeah.
Moore. Shout out to George Moore, man. The great George Moore.
George.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And
So
so yeah,
go ahead,
Dude,
D.
I'm
hey, listen. Martin was my cousin, but at one
Absolutely.
point Martin was carrying Smoke around with him
Mm,
doing gigs. So I was
yeah.
mad at him.
Yeah, no, I
was
understand.
mad at Martin, like, yo, why you carrying this dude around? And I
Yeah.
heard so for a long time I didn't like Smoke, man.
No, I feel you.
Until this one time, man, Martin picked us both up and took us somewhere. And when I started talking to him, he was just like real cool and humble,
Real
man.
cool.
And
Right.
then after that, I started hanging around with them in New Haven, and I met Adam
Yeah.
for the first
Yeah.
time. And the first time I met Adam, it was like, yo, like, wow, it's another dude, like.
Mm-hmm.
And that same day I met Adam. Adam had showed me a snare drum that he had built and made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam was an architect, bro. Like he
Yeah,
literally
man.
was like a drum carpenter, bro.
Yo,
Facts.
and from that day, man, and the other person that I met at this time, I don't know if y'all even realized that Boom was playing drums.
Boom was definitely
Okay.
playing drums. Absolutely.
Because he came and I think for like the offering, he was left hand and he started playing drums.
Yep.
And so I'm like, yo, all of these dudes
Yeah.
like playing drum, and then Big Jermaine came
Big
in,
Jermaine.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this is crazy. Like I thought I had everybody figured out. Like
Yeah.
who are all these dudes?
Then
man?
you go to Alwyn's church, you go to Rob Smith church, and Alwyn got the big drum set, like the tour setup
Yo.
in church. Shout out to
Yo.
Alwyn, bro. Alwyn
Yo.
Smith. He had the greatest, but Alwyn literally had the drum sets that Adam would draw, because Adam would draw drums.
Wow,
Yeah.
man.
He would like draw drums.
Yeah.
Adam made
Yeah.
the octagon symbol before it was out.
Wow, yo.
And this is at the late great Bishop Pastor Tucker's church.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ardell Tucker, yeah.
Yeah.
Ardell Tucker, man.
Winchester, you can hear the water running.
Winchester, yeah.
Yes.
Winchester
Yes.
Ave.
Respect
Definitely.
and love to her.
Yeah.
Dude. Alwyn's kit was the first huge drum set I think I ever played.
Ever, yo.
And I wanted to hit everything on that junk.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a 6-inch tom, an 8-inch tom. He had a
Yeah.
22-inch. He had a gong. Like Alwyn
Man, he had about 20 cymbals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be playing a slow song and you're gonna hit everything on that joint. Every slow
Everything
song.
on
yo.
that mug.
Yeah,
Just
shout out Alwyn, man. Great times,
Yeah.
man. Great times. So at
Yes,
what
sir.
age did you know you were good?
Go ahead, D.
Like what age did people start asking you to come play for them?
I asked the Friends era,
The friends there. So 13.
like 13, 14, and when I came back, like I said, when I came
Okay,
back
that
to
time.
Bishop Store Church,
Do you have a
And-
defining moment when you played out with people, like when you started getting recognition from outside the church? Because that's a key moment for development too.
honestly, Junior Fountain.
Okay, I remember that day. Go ahead.
Junior Fountain. I played for Junior Fountain. You know, shout out to Junior Fountain.
Shout out
You know
Junior.
what
You
I'm
gave
saying?
Yes,
all of us a
sir.
chance. I ain't gonna lie. You
Yeah,
gave
yeah,
everybody on
Yeah.
this panel.
yeah,
We all got
yeah,
exposure because of Junior.
yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
saying I started playing with him, and from there, like people started noticing.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I
Eternity
wasn't,
Revival Center, right? You was playing for the
yeah,
church. Yeah,
and because I wasn't an aggressive dude. Like I was one of those dudes. Like if I got on, you know what I'm saying? If I had a chance, then I'll do it. But I wasn't one of those dudes that will rush and run to the drums. Like
yeah,
Got you.
I wasn't one of those. Like you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like Solomon, my boy. Like Solomon had no fear.
yeah.
Solomon, we'll be in TFT. Solomon, first, he'll be in the balcony, and then next time you see him,
He be
he
on the
down on the
drums.
drums. Like yo, how you get like you know what I'm saying? And he
Wow.
Right.
had no fear. I wasn't one of them dudes. I was just like laid back. And you know what I'm saying? And I lived off, my grandma's always say your gift will make room for you. Your
Yeah,
Yeah.
gift will make
absolutely.
room. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I lived that down to the T. You know what I'm
Wow,
saying?
man.
But when I got with Junior, you know what I mean, and started doing some things with him,
Yeah,
I started getting calls like,
yeah.
come do this. You know, you have a pocket. People
Exposure.
notice me.
Yeah.
People notice
Hmm.
me that didn't notice. I remember one time I got embarrassed. Uh, Anthony Dawkins.
Mm.
He he didn't know I could play drums,
Wow.
and he
Wow.
kicked me
Call
off.
him out.
He kicked me off. He know this story.
What's
He
up, Ant?
laughed.
Shout out Ant.
Shout out to him,
Yeah.
my boy Ant.
Yeah, love you, Ant.
He didn't know I played drums,
Right.
so I had got on the drums. I think a drummer had left or something, and I
Mm-hmm.
got on the drums, and he kicked me off for Ebony.
Mm.
He kicked me off for
Wow.
Ebony
Wow.
because, of course, he knew Ebony could play because they was at
Uh.
uh,
Oh man,
what was
Bishop
that
Hayes
church?
Church, Pastor Hayes Church, right?
Hey, no, not Hayes. On
Oh, Wiggins, Wiggins.
Wiggins,
Yeah, Bishop Wiggins
yes,
Church.
Oh,
Yep, yep.
wow.
yes,
State
Bishop
Street.
Wiggins Church, State Street,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Bishop Wiggins. So they played together. They played together there. So he knew she could play.
Hmm.
So I remember I was like so embarrassed and boom, boom, boom. The next time, I think we was at Wiggins Church.
Yeah.
We was at a rehearsal,
With that tall
and
stage.
yes, yes. Oh, I got a story about that stage with Gerald Isaac, but that's a whole nother thing.
Shout out Gerald Isaac.
Shout out
Yeah.
Gerald Isaac. But anyway, I remember getting on the drums. I'm like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Here we go again. I got on the drums, and I remember Ants looked at me. Ant Dawkins looked at me and did one of these. He did one of these, rolled his eyes like
Oh,
because he had nobody to kick me off.
for
You know
you,
what I'm saying?
you stuck with you.
But right, but when I started playing, I'll never forget his reaction.
He is
Yeah.
mortified.
He was like the whole time he playing, he's looking
Yeah.
at me like. And I
Yeah.
remember after rehearsal, yo, I got my just due because after that rehearsal, he came to me. He said, "I'm so sorry." No, I gotta say it like he would say it. Yo, I'm so sorry. He said, "I'm so sorry." He said, I'm so sorry, man." He said, I didn't know you could play, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I said,
Shout out Big Bro Ant
shout out my
Dawkins,
bro.
Yeah,
man.
and
But yeah, man. So
So that's your story, man. So what's yours when you had played out? I mean, I just think
so
you had said something about Bishop Moles Church, but have you had an
um
experience outside of that?
outside of that, there was a festival that was going on in Stratford,
Okay.
and Connecticut Mass Choir was on.
Mm-hmm.
I think Keith Harper was on bass. God bless his soul.
Okay. Rest in peace.
And what's my man? Jamaican kid was playing drums. Mark
Okay.
Wright was
Mark,
playing
right.
drums
Yeah.
back
yeah,
then.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
dude, I wanted to play so bad. I kept begging him to play. Like I didn't know the music. I didn't know nothing. But I was at the festival with my grandmother,
Yeah.
and so they never let me play. Connecticut Mass finished, and then his jazz band came on,
Yeah.
And so one of the guys he saw, he was like, the kid been asking to play the whole time. He's like, yo, let's just call him up and let him play. And
Yeah.
so I started playing with this jazz band from they had came down from New York. And when I started playing, this dude, like, they were crazy, bro. Like, they went
Yeah.
crazy. And so like, I think they let me play like the last song. So afterwards they walked off the stage. They were like, yo, who are you and where's your parents?
Yeah.
And so I told them that I was there with my grandmother, and they walked over to my grandmother. They was like, ma'am, take our information. We want to take them on the road with us. And so my grandmother was like, I'm not his guardian, but I'll take the information and have his parents call you.
Wow.
And so later on, my grandmother gave the number to my mom, and she called the people, and they were literally telling my mom, like, hey, listen, we want to take them on the road. I was about 12.
Oh.
And so my mom was like, she's like, I can't. And so I remember crying, like I was begging her, and I was crying.
Please.
And so my mom was like, no, son. She was like, I want you to finish school, X, Y, and Z. And so the next time my grandmother saw me, my grandmother said the same thing that you said, D. She said, your gift is going to make room for you.
Right.
When is your time?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so the next time that came, it was a Saturday morning. I'll never forget. It was a Saturday morning. I was home. I was about 14, 15.
Yeah.
And Martin called the house phone, because back then we didn't have cell phones.
Right. It's a landline.
Martin called the house phone, and my mom came and woke me up. She said, Martin's on the phone for you. And so Martin's asking me, he's saying, dude, how far do you live from the train station? This when I was up in Trumbull by the mall, guys.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, yo, I'm about 15, 20 minutes from the train. He's like, all right, we need you to get dressed right now and jump on the next train coming to Bridgeport to be there in about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So he's like, put your mom on the phone. So he started talking to my mom. He's asking my mom, can she get me there? Yeah. And so they literally told my mom, just throw anything on him and get him to the train station.
Yeah.
And so literally they get me to the train station. They're like, they had told my mom, we're going to be looking for him. It was with Kevin Monroe and Devotion. They was like, just put him on the train. We're going to find him. And so so we made it to the train station, and I got on the train, and I could see from both sides. It was Martin, Colin, and Lisa was on one end, and Kevin was on another end.
Legends,
looking for me.
Yeah.
And so when they finally got me, they came and grabbed me, and they said, hey, they was like, listen, we're headed to Madison Square Garden to play for Tremaine Hawkins. Right? And I'm like, what?
You win, Will. You win. I don't even want to tell my story.
Dude, they were like, yo.
Wow.
Steve Hayward.
Oh,
Sorry, Steve, I got to tell it. Wow. Steve was supposed to be there, but Steve never showed up to the train station. So they were heading to Madison Square Garden to go play for Tremaine Hawkins with no drummer, yo. So I guess Martin's only thing was like, yo, let me get little cuz. Yeah. Maybe he'll be able to hold it, And so I remember the entire group sitting me down on a bus, and they gave me the Walkman, and they told me to start listening to the material. It was like,
how old were you, Will? You 12 or 13?
I was 15.
Oh, you're older by then. Okay.
I was about 15. And so it was about 6 or 7 songs. And so they were like, every time, they'll look over, you getting it? And I was like, I think I got it. Like, I'm not going to know until I get there,
Right.
And I remember, I'll never forget, when we walked in Madison Square Garden, they were like literally waiting for us to come start sound checking.
Okay.
Jason Hendrickson was there. The Heads was there. Jay was still playing drums. Though.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is like Power Belongs to God, I'll Fly Away time.
Dude. And so I'm like, yo, I'm losing it. I'm like, yo, it's the dude with the headband.
Yeah.
Yo, I've been watching this dude on TV, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Georgia Mass is there. Fred Hammond is there, right? And so they're like, yo, they said something like, yo, where's Tremaine's band? And they literally got up, and Tremaine came into sound check, and she was just kind of saying, I guess they explained to her what happened. And she said 2 things to me. She said, if I want you to slow down, I'm gonna pat my feet. She said, always watching my right foot. And so she started tapping. And she said, if I want you to speed up, I'm gonna tap my leg. That means speed up. And so she was like, yo, let's run from the top. And literally we played, like, I did the sound check. I was so scared, y'all. So
Yeah, I'm
scared,
sure,
right?
bro.
And so Showtime, I mean, they took me out in the middle of Madison Square Garden, bought me clothes because I didn't have clothes.
Yeah.
I remember I just got up
You just
and
put
jumped on
anything
the
on,
train.
yeah.
Yo, they went and bought me a whole outfit to wear for that night, and then we got back to Madison Square Garden. It was time to play,
Yeah.
and dude, I promise y'all, two
Did you
seconds
bring any
before,
equipment with you, or you just
all I had
everything
was
was backline?
sticks. All I had was sticks. So it was straight back line, dude. And so what happened was we was about to count off. They was introducing her, and I froze, like I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't remember the count in.
Oh my
Right.
God, Will.
I was so nervous that I was free. And
Right.
William Mose looked at me and he said, "Yo, calm down." He said, "Calm
Yeah.
down." He's like he counted the tempo, and
Yeah.
and I
Yes.
think I don't know what it was. Tremaine knew that I had maybe forgot, and
Yeah.
she just counted it off in the
Wow.
middle of the mic, and we started playing, and the rest of that night was like a blur to me, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And so afterwards, everybody was like quiet, going upstairs to the dressing room, and so I'm like, I didn't
How
want
did
to
I
ask any
do? Like,
questions, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And at this point, I'm just like, yo, man, I probably messed up because nobody's
Yeah.
saying anything. And
Right.
so Jermaine Hawkins' manager or assistant came and knocked on the door and was like, Tremaine wants to see you guys. She's like, Tremaine wants you guys to come down to the room. She wants to speak with you. And I remember going down, letting everybody go. I was the last person to walk in the room.
Mhm.
And so when we finally got in the room, Tremaine was like, oh my God. She was like, this was one of the best shows that I had in a long time. And
Wow.
so she said to Kevin, Kevin, she said, this particular crew that's here right now, every time I come, this is who I want.
Right.
And so every time she came to the East Coast, they would call me to come play for Tremaine.
Well,
Yeah.
that's amazing,
Yeah,
bro.
man. That was
That's
my
what's up.
very first big thing that I ever did.
And
Right.
you knew yeah, man. That's
And
when you knew you had it, man.
And from that time, I knew I was like, yo, this is what I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
this is it.
It's something about those on the fly, no rehearsal moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my story
Right.
is, my uncle had the choir friends, right? Me and Darnell are in the choir, and Darnell's gonna laugh at this story, but because me and Darnell fell out because of this story. Because now me and Darnell are brothers, best friends, like live together, everything, right? But
Right.
we're peers, but we're not rivals. But we're always trying to, I don't know
Right.
how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like we motivated each other, right?
Right.
Right.
So we're
Right.
best friends, but we best friends that play drums. So we're both in the choir, not getting any burn. So at this time, Mike and Tom and them go on tour. They with Aaron Hall. So you remember that big controversy when they left the church to go play R&B?
R&B. Yeah.
Oh my God! It shut down the whole city because Mike and Nate and Tom went to play R&B music, and then when they came back, when they went to London and did a show, all they did was a show. They probably did like 3 or 4 shows in London,
Right.
and came back, and they came
Right.
back to the choir, but they couldn't come back because they played for the devil. They played the devil's music. So we had a big concert at Holy Tab, and it was my uncle had just passed. And it was the
Right.
first event that Friends did after he passed. It was like a coming back, like we're back, we're still doing music. Our
Right.
leader passed away, but we still gonna keep going. So it was a big deal. We had ties, special ties. We had uniforms, everything. Do you remember?
You sure did.
And
You sure
so
did.
Mike and Tom and Nate weren't allowed to play. I don't
Right.
even know if you know the story, Will. They weren't allowed to play because they were
Had that
playing
big
second.
meeting.
We had a big meeting. Sean's on it in
Wow,
church. Pastor
yo.
Sean can attest. We had a
Yeah.
big meeting, and they would not let the choir voted and would not let them come back and play because they went and did 3 shows in London with Aaron Hall and Guy.
Wow.
Right.
So this
Yep.
is like 93. So now this is crazy though. Watch the chain of events, because before the band was Tom, it was Tom, Nate Clemens, and Jeff on percussion and Mike on drums. And then from that situation, Mike Davis was 19, 18,
Yeah, yeah.
just started coming around, and we were like, "Who the heck is this dude?" You know, because
Exactly.
we didn't know who Mike Davis was, but as
Wow.
good as Mike is now, he was good
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
So
Yes.
you know what I mean.
Facts.
So
Facts.
we have this big concert. The whole city's coming out. Matter of fact, Raven is on here. Dewan is on here. Hardin Gospel Choir opened for that concert.
I
So
remember.
Hardin. So that was my introduction. That was my second or third time seeing Dion. So Dewan, Dion, Alicia, Rich, Raven, Takia, Caressa, they all
Yep.
walked. They all walked to the concert from Caressa's house over the bridge,
Wow.
Yep.
from Fifth from Fifth Ave,
Yeah.
all the way to the church. Right.
I played for.
Yeah. Darnell played that night.
I played that. Yep.
Darnell played for Hardin that night. But
Yep.
mind you, the decision was made. The decision was made that they weren't going to play the night before, but Dave Brown hadn't chose who was going to play drums yet.
Right.
So Dave Brown was our producer, and I think for whatever reason, the backup drummer Jeff, what's his name? Darnell Blizzy, we used to call him.
Wilson, was it Wilson?
Jeff Wilkinson.
Wilkinson, something like that.
Jeff Wilkinson wasn't there or couldn't play.
No.
So
That's when it was like I'm standing up for my brothers. Like if they can't play, I'm
okay,
not playing.
yeah. You're right. So Blizz was the percussionist for us, and because they wouldn't let Mike, Nate, and Tom play, Blizz said, "I'm not playing." So with Blizz taking a stand for his boys and not playing, now Dave has to put together a whole band.
Yeah.
And who better to hold it down than Mike Davis? So this is Mike Davis' introduction to playing out in Bridgeport.
Wow.
And they still don't have a drummer. And me and Darnell are the only two people that know the music
Right.
because we play drums. So I'm 14. I got a picture too. I wish I had it ready. I got a picture from that night. Deacon Sandy Hardin took the picture for me.
Wow.
But I was 14. TGE was there from New York.
Yes.
With Marv Johnson and who else was there, Darnell? I think it just Holy Tabs could seat like 400, 500 people.
Yeah.
And it
was
was
a lot of people there that night.
inside out. You know, one of the first early dope concerts in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to play, no rehearsal, bro. Just sit down and play the records. Now me and Darnell was like, you only got a chance to play because that's your uncle's choir.
Yo.
D was a little tight with me. D was a little salty with me that I got the call and he didn't, right? He's like, that's your aunt. Of course she's gonna call you to play. I said, what you mean? She gonna ask me to play. That's your aunt. I said, D, I was prepared. He was like, nah, you only got the opportunity because your aunt. I was like, you trying to say I ain't good? Like we had a whole falling out.
Yo.
Oh man, yo.
Right, David Woods and TGE. That's right, June, Big June out here. That's little Dave's father. Yep. So
Wow.
So me and Darnell actually had a falling out because of that. And he was supposed to come stay the night at my house that weekend. And I told my mother I didn't want him to come because I was mad at him.
Yo, shit was
I was tight because I'm like, yo, he disrespected me like he don't think I'm good. I'm not good enough to hold the gig down.
And I was trying to tell
man.
Chip. Yeah, he was so tight he wasn't hearing me. I said, dude, it's not because of your skill. I was trying to tell him that, not because you don't have the skills to do it. I said, but because first you're gonna get first dibs because that's family. That's all I was saying. Chip wasn't hearing it at the time, yo.
D made me mad. So I told my mother, I said, Darnell, she's like, Darnell, she was cleaning the house. She was getting my bunk beds ready for Darnell. So she changing the sheets, getting everything. I said, Mom, you don't gotta do that because Darnell ain't coming. Nope, he ain't coming.
Yo, for real, yo. For real.
And it was, Will, I'm gonna take you back. It was Vacation Bible School week.
Oh.
We had So you know they always tell you bring your friends to Vacation Bible School. So
man.
Darnell, I told Darnell, he called me. I was like, no, you ain't coming over. Click, and I hung up on him, right? Because the concert happened already. I think the concert happened already, but the next week the concert had happened already, and then Darnell told me how he felt. Like, you just got an opportunity to play because your aunt is the president of the choir. I was like, what? So it's next week is Vacation Bible School. So all that week we had Vacation Bible School, and Darnell was supposed to come over that Friday to stay over Saturday. And I told my mom, I don't want him to come over. I told my dad, nope, I don't want him to come over. And I told Darnell, he's like, yo, I'm still coming tonight, right? I was like, nah, nope, Yo, 'cause I don't like.
You gonna take it back?
I
You
was
gonna
tight,
take it
right?
back, yo?
Nope, you gonna.
Yo.
So
Yo.
I'm in church in Vacation Bible School, right? And I see Darnell walking with a suitcase. Darnell was like, "You gonna forgive me, dog? I'm still coming."
Yo, 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 I still remember that, yo. When
Oh
you
my
walked in,
God, yeah.
when you first
Darnell
walked
walked
in
in there
Holy
with
Tab,
this maroon L-shaped suitcase with an L for Laverne with his mother's name on it.
Oh man, yo.
The finger hut joint, the finger hut suitcase. Darnell walked in like, I'm still coming. I don't care what you say. And
yo,
he deboed his way into my house,
yo,
yo.
Oh
I
my
remember
God,
that, yo,
yo.
because when you first walked that Holy Tab, to your left was a long bench that used to be in the hallway.
Yep.
And I
Yeah, I
remember
remember that.
I walked in and I threw my luggage. Remember the luggage? Remember the luggage your parents used to order?
Yeah, it's the finger hut
Yo,
joint, and you had the
yo,
L monogram on it from
Oh
Laverne.
man.
Darnell, you gotta
Oh
work, get your
man.
service, man. Darnell walked in and said he deboed his way. Anyway, that concert changed my life because that was my first opportunity to play. I met, the cats from TGE. I got to play,
yo,
in front
hold up. Remember
of
the
what?
luggage? My internet. I don't know why my internet keep freezing up. But anyway, remember the luggage your parents used to order to Avon that
Yeah,
came
it was
with your initials on it. Yo,
it was Avon or Finger Hut, one of the two. It had the L.
yeah,
My mother still
yo,
has one of those maroon bags,
Wow,
bro.
yeah.
man.
That's exactly what color it was, maroon. Yeah, I
Yeah, my
walked in
mother
there
had the
like,
same one.
yo. I'm
Yep.
like, I walked in there like, Chip, you're gonna love me.
So we get in the car, and my mother whispers,
Yo,
my mother whispers to me, "I thought you was mad at him."
yo.
I was like, "He just came."
Wow,
I
yo.
said, "He just came
Yeah,
anyway,
yo.
but he could stay."
Yo.
I still don't think he apologized, but it's okay.
I
Oh
did.
man.
I'm sorry to the world. I'm sorry, Chip. I apologize.
25 years later, right?
Yo,
Oh
Oh
man.
yo.
man. Oh man. Okay. Let's move in. So
That's
we finally
hilarious.
we got we can stay here all night. We got
I
to the
know.
point where we have both made we all have made a name for ourselves in the city, right? Will, you have an amazing story how you got the call. Do you want to tell your Berkeley story first, or do you want to tell your call to go on your professional story first?
Um.
Give us the Berkeley story because I just saw an interview. I was doing my research
So
and I saw you had a crazy Berkeley story.
so Berkeley was. I actually had graduated from high school. I was out of high school for about 2 years. And a lot of people don't know that I like work on cars. So I was good with my hands.
Wow.
So I was working at Jiffy Lube at the time, and um, one of my one of the managers there was like just riding me. Every time I came to work, this dude would just, I felt like he would find an issue and just pick with me. And so it was just one day, man, I'm in and I'm like, yo, like, I really just can't take this no more. And I went home and I told my mom, I said, hey, I think I want to go to college. And my mom laughed.
Wow.
Right.
She laughed when I told her, and I was like, nah, I'm serious. I was like, I had a moment today at work. I said, I want to quit. I said, I just kind of thought to myself, like, I can't be the person who lives his life doing something that he hates.
Yeah.
You hear
Right.
people saying,
Right.
you work, 30, 40 years doing something that you hate. And, why do that? And so I went home and told them I want to try college.
Wow.
And so when she found out I was serious, I had always heard about Berkeley in high school. And I actually had one teacher who kind of discouraged me when I was graduating. He told me I wasn't college material.
Mm.
Wow.
And he told me, he looked at me, he said, you'll never get into Berkeley, because, everybody was asking, what are you going to do? You should go to music school. And I was like, well, maybe Berkeley. And so he said to me one thing, you'll never get into Berkeley. And so,
Wow.
I always remembered Berkeley, and I had some brochures and everything that came in the mail. And so I started looking at some stuff, and then I came home, I think maybe 2 or 3 days later, and my mom told me that she got me an audition at Berkeley.
Wow.
And so at that time, Nate Barnes was still up at
Right.
Berkeley, and so I
Right.
reached out to
Shout out
Nate.
Nate Barnes. Yeah.
Nate.
Yeah, man. I reached
Nate the
out to
Great.
Nate, and Nate just kind of told me, I said, I got this audition coming up. What are they gonna ask me? And what are they gonna ask me to do? And he was like, well, just learn X, Y, and Z. It was just different styles of music, and he told me to brush up on some of my reading, and they were gonna test me with my ears and theory.
Yeah.
And so at this time, I'm like, air training and music theory, like what the heck is that?
Right.
And so he's like, yo, no, you're gonna have to know how to play some keyboards. And so I took like a little crash cut course on, basic keyboard stuff. And so I went up to the audition, and they had like a long table. It was about 3 judges sitting at the table, and they started to ask me to just play, different styles, play rock groove, play a jazz, swing, play a Latin groove, and then play funk. And then I was supposed to prepare a piece, but I didn't prepare the piece. And prior to that, they had asked me to read some stuff, snare drum part. And so, I did marching band and, concert band in school. So I was able to read a snare part. Okay. But then they put a drum set part in front of me, and I was like, I can't read this. Like, I can't read drums like that. Right. And so they asked me, they said, play your piece. And so I remember telling the guy, I said, well, I didn't prepare a piece. I said, but, I had some stuff that I just wanted to play off the top of my head. And so I had started playing, and like midway through, one of the guys stopped me. He said, what is that you just did? And I was like, oh, it's just, something that I heard. And so he was like, you hear more of that? And I'm like, yeah, I hear more. And he said, okay, can you go a little further? And so I started playing again, and I started pushing, some ideas out. And he stopped me again. He said, hold on. He said, I'm gonna go get somebody. And he went and got the chair of the music department, drum department. And it was a guy by the name of Uriah Israel. He brought him back in. He's like, yo, I kind of need you to hear what this kid is playing. And so he told me to repeat some of the stuff that I had played. And so I started playing again. And so Uriah stopped me. He's like, have you been studying or? And I was just kind of like, nah, I haven't been studying. He was like, he just said to me and my mom, he's like, he's playing some of the stuff that some of our guys that's about to graduate is playing. And he's like, it'd be an honor to have him come here and study, because I think we can help him go, be a major drummer. He's already great, but I feel like we can push him. And they end up giving me a full ride, man.
Wow.
And so my mom, my mom, the church moms, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
And literally, man, like the crazy thing was, I think like the semester had already started. I was like a week behind. Yeah. And so they literally told me, like, come up next week. And I moved in, man, into dorm and started studying at Berkeley, man.
Who are some of the people you met in that experience?
Dude, so when I was coming in, Nate was leaving. Nate was on his last year. So Nate kind of just kept me underneath them. And I made all Nate friends who were like amazing musicians, like you guys, who's out now that you guys may know? There's Jermaine Nelson was there.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Jermaine Nelson.
Kimberell.
Yeah, Kimberell. Yeah. He was leaving. What's Mark's last name? Bass player from Houston. He plays on I think Jimmy. What's the show that Quest play on with the Roots?
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon.
The bass player Mark. I think is I can't think of Mark's last name, but he's from Houston. He was there in school. My Brian Cochran was there when I was there.
Wow.
We were playing with
down here, yeah.
PJ Morton.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
I mean, all the horn players from Justin Timberlake Regiment Horns.
Yeah.
All those guys was there at school. Chris Lofton, that plays bass with Brian McKnight, was actually leaving. So there was a bunch of guys that were there that now that you look into the industry, they're all Berkeley cats that I got a chance to meet while I was there.
Yeah.
Thomas Pridgeon and Carlin.
Yeah.
Tim Robbins on bass. God bless.
Rob, rest in peace, Tim.
Rest in peace, Tim. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So you had an amazing experience. How long did you stay there? You still with me, Will?
Yeah. Somebody was calling me for some whatever reason.
Okay.
I did 2 semesters
Okay.
at Berkeley, and then I came home. That's what translates into me getting called on the road. I came home for summer break.
Little John said the same thing. He said he did 2 years at Berkeley, and then he did a gig in Atlanta, and he never went back.
Dude, I think Darnell, were you at the church that night?
I was about to say the crazy thing is,
I was there too.
We sit in the back when you got that call to go play for Faith.
Me and Darnell were sitting next to each other.
So basically, what happened was that day, I came home. Trina. I was dating Trina. I was at Trina's house,
right
on the west, and Mike, the flip phones were out. I had Mike text me. He was out in LA rehearsing with Usher. And he said to me, jump on the train and get to this audition, like, right now. And I'm like, what? He's like, yo, don't ask no questions. Just jump on the train and I'm sending you this information. And so, of course, I jump on the train. I get to New York. It's like I get to SIR. He sent me to SIR. And they're holding auditions for Faith. But I don't even know at this point who I'm auditioning for. I'm just going. And so I remember getting in the line. And they were passing out these forms to fill out. Mm-hmm. It was asking stuff like, yo, who did you play for? What albums were you on? Like, what are you doing now? You have any schooling? Mm-hmm. And so the only thing I was able to fill out was the schooling part. I put Berkeley and then my name, and then I handed it to the guy. And I was literally standing in the back of the line. And the guy, about maybe 10, 15 minutes, he came back out and he was holding the
Mike just jumped on too. Mike just jumped in.
Who was Will Parker? And I was like, that's me. He was like, yo, we was waiting for you. Come in.
Yeah.
And so literally I went into the whole thing. And actually, I'm sorry. That was the audition for Tweet.
Oh wow.
That was my first audition for Tweet. But that was maybe 2 weeks before.
Okay.
And so I ended up not getting I actually did get the gig for Tweet.
Wow.
And I started doing rehearsals. Gerald Hayward walked in and pulled Nissan to the side because he had Rex in town. Rex was staying with Gerald for a little bit at that time because he was doing some stuff with Mary. Mm-hmm. And it just worked out to where Rex ended up doing Tweet.
Wow.
And so I remember I walked outside. I wanted to cry so bad. And Nissan
Rex was already tight with Nissan and them. He was already tight with he was already.
And so Nissan Stewart walked outside and he said to me, he's like, yo, you gotta have thick skin. He's like, in this industry, sometimes things like this happen. He's like, I owe him a favor. That's my boy. He's like, but I got your information. He's like, I'm telling you, you'll get another call. Mm-hmm. At that time, I didn't want to hear that crap.
Nah, nobody wanted to hear that.
Man, like, I done told these niggas I got this gig for Tweet. Now I gotta go back and tell them I ain't got the gig. You know how people be like, yo, he was lying.
He was lying.
You know what I'm saying? But cousin Jazz was still on the gig. Mm-hmm. And so it was about maybe a month later. Mike texted me.
Mike said, "Nah, son."
Mike texted me and told me to go to this audition, this rehearsal rather. It wasn't an audition. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Up to Faith's rehearsal, and I got to the rehearsal, and Liddell was there playing, and some things had transpired where they took a break, and they left the track running. They were trying to learn some material, and they took a break, and then Sean Carrington, God bless his soul,
rest in peace.
He asked me who I was. We started talking. Come to find out, Sean was from New Haven.
Yep.
And so he was like, yo, we heard you was coming. And they had left the BS going. He was like, yo, you can mess around. And so I started playing. And then Sean was like, hold up. Like, let me go get Kern real quick. And so he went outside. He grabbed Kern. He's like, yo, you got to come here and check this kid out. Like, the stuff he's playing over. Playing over the track. Right? And so Kern came in, and it was kind of like a thing where, he was like, yo, man, I'm gonna call auditions tomorrow again for the drums. And so he called me, he called Big House, he called Derek
House.
Wright. Yeah.
Who?
House.
He called you, House, and who else?
Derek Wright.
Derek Wright.
And then Liddell was still there.
Wow.
And the next day we came in, it's kind of like, he ran through a couple of songs and then they went back out and then they came back and was like, yo, we're gonna take the young kid, like he gonna go on tour. And so at that time I was still in school. So I told Kern, like, yo, I kind of like pulled him to the side. I was like, yo, I don't think I'm gonna be going on the tour because I'm in school. And my mom, he was like, yo, now ain't the time.
Now ain't the time, bro.
Now ain't the time to say that. So
right.
He said, yo, man, get your mom on the phone, dude.
Yeah.
And so I got my mother on the phone and I told her where I was. And at first she was saying no. And then Kern, he asked this question that he said, ma'am, no disrespect, and I'll respect your decision. Yeah. He said, but you sending your son to school to do exactly what? And my mom was like, well, get education and get a diploma, and he's like, basically what we're doing is we're giving her an opportunity to do that early. Yeah. And he's like, so he can take a leave of absence, and then he can come back, and he can go back and do school. And literally, that's what happened, man. I went on that that's first crazy. Tour, and from that day to this day, man, I just been working.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's great. That's what's up.
Mike said, "Gotta go. Bye." Dion's on here too. Shout out, Dion. We were just talking about you that
what up,
when we did the Friends concert and Harden had to play, and y'all walked over the bridge to Holy Tab.
Yo,
good times, man. So explain that moment. So you got the call. When did you know? Because we and Darnell were in the church. Your phone rang. Where were you jumping off the phone? Jumping out to get that call.
So basically, what happened was he told me I had the gig and I had to go back the next day. Mm-hmm. But then, we came back home and I was at the church, and then he was like, yo, you got to come back up to rehearsal because Diddy's coming in tomorrow to hear you. Yeah. And so I was like,
no pressure.
Like what? And he was like, yeah, like we got to run through some stuff with you. Yeah. And so that's why I off the drums and told Martin I had to go.
That was crazy.
And because drove me up to the rehearsal.
Yeah, you called. It was funny because you was on the phone. You had phone like this.
Yep.
And you was like, yo, you was telling me, you was like, hey, come on, yo. Yeah. Come on. I'm sitting in the back of the church like, what's going on? Like, why is Willie telling me to come up there? Yep. You're like, yo, come on, yo. Come on. You was
and
like,
then from you taking the gig and going on the road, that moved Darnell up, and then Darnell took the Tab gig.
Yeah, that's how it started.
That started Darnell the era at Prayer Tab, the Cathedral. So
yeah, man,
that's wild, man.
That's crazy.
So Darnell, give us your Stanley Brown story. How important is Stanley Brown in your career?
Stanley Brown.
Because I asked Mike the same question, so I want to ask you.
He's very important, very vital to, my career, especially the R&B side of it. Everybody should know Stanley Brown. He started so many careers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And was the blueprint to stuff early. Like nobody was driving back in those days, like the early like late 80s, early 90s. Nobody like in gospel was driving Ben.
Right. Darnell, we're gonna raise an offer for this Wi-Fi. Saints, we need you to dig a little deeper and put some.
I'm sorry.
Take a collection up. Darnell's Cash App is. We need to get my brother some Wi-Fi. Leave that Comcast alone. No, what you got? What's that terrible Wi-Fi back home? I forgot what the name of it is. But you need some Xfinity, bro. He's gone. All right, well. So you have a chance to go on tour, Will, with your mentor, Mike. What does Mike Clemens mean to you?
Man, listen.
I got to pause your story, D. I got to come back to you because I don't know if you're going to leave or not.
I'm here, buddy.
All right, finish your story, bro. Finish your story.
My phone.
You might have to talk fast because you're averaging every 30 seconds.
So anyway, I was with Dion. And we went to his church, Bishop Flake, Am I
Floyd,
saying it right?
Floyd Flake,
Floyd Flake.
Floyd.
Yeah,
You're right.
we
Allen,
did
right? You went to Allen, right?
yeah, Allen Cathedral. Yeah, we
Okay,
did
okay.
it was a youth conference
Mm-hmm.
that they had us come to, and Dion was teaching, and I believe it was me, and I want to say was it DJ?
Yeah.
I want to say DJ, and what happened is afterwards, end up going to Stanley Brown's studio.
Nice.
Actually, end up going to Stanley
Wow.
Brown's studio, and Stanley was fooling around with some stuff, letting us hear some stuff, and that's the night that I actually recorded the some of the music to Sunday's Best.
Oh, you played that in the intro.
The intro, the
The
original
original
Sunday's
CD,
Best.
right?
Wow.
Wow.
When they
Talk
go,
that talk, D.
yeah, because you never Stanley was so spontaneous, you don't never know what's gonna happen when you have.
And you don't know what it's
So
for either. Like
right,
you just don't.
right.
Yeah.
So he was like, dude, he's like, D, get in the
Somebody
get in
tag
the booth.
Stanley for me.
Yeah, he was like, D, go in the drum room, man. I need you to do this for like
Yeah.
that. So if you listen to the original Sunday's Best music, when I like the Sunday's Best and the just da. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's me doing that on the
Yeah.
time.
Let's
Wow.
go,
Yeah,
D.
you know what I'm saying.
Legendary, man.
So anyway, recording that, and he let us hear other stuff, and then
You did
there
some
was
stuff for
another.
Crystal Aiken too, right?
No, what's her name? The light skinned. What's her name? Uh, remember the sisters? Both sisters they can sing.
Okay.
When
It'll
she
come
sing
to
with,
you.
yeah, it'll come to me. I end up recording her whole album.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
I didn't know who it was for.
Yeah.
Stanley will play it one time. I will
Yeah.
record a song. Then he'll play the
Right.
next song. Then I record. You know what I'm saying? So I was, back and forth at the studio with Stanley. And then one day he was like, "Yo, D." He was like, "Yo, I got this." He said, "I got this girl that's out. She's already out, but she need a band." And you know what I'm saying? And he was like, "What's up?" Like I was
Wow.
telling you, you know I'm down. Whatever.
Wow.
Which was
Yo.
Melody Fiona.
What year was
Which was
this?
this was 2000. Woo, like 8.
Wow.
Yeah, like 2008. And I remember doing a rehearsal. We had a big showcase for Universal. Jay-Z,
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z was there. He Rock Nation. That
Yeah.
was her management.
Yeah. She was signing Right
So
Nation.
yeah, so Jay-Z was there. Quest from the Roots. You know what I'm
That wasn't
saying?
the one we went to, right? Y'all did it one before that one, right?
No, that was they was there. That was the one
That
on
me and
Canal
Dion
Street.
and Vendel came to.
Yeah, on Canal Street. They
Wow.
was there. They were
Wow.
there, man, on Canal
I
Street.
met Questlove that night. I remember that.
Yeah, Jay-Z was there.
Wow. I
Like
missed that one.
yeah, I know, me too.
Dang.
But yeah. So we did the showcase. We rehearsed for like 2 weeks
Yeah.
in Manhattan, Euro Studios in
You,
Manhattan.
DJ, Chris Mercedes,
Yeah,
Jameson.
yep, Jameson,
Yeah.
and it was another guitar. I forgot his name. It was another guitar player that started with us.
Yeah. Y'all had another person
Um,
on keys too, but
Devery
Yeah,
from
Devery.
Heads.
Yep. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
from
right.
Heads.
Wow.
He was playing too. Yep. Shout
Yep.
out
I
to
remember that.
Devery. My man is a beast. But
When
anyway,
we put the clips up, I'm gonna put the pictures up so everybody can see it
yeah,
when I put the clips up. Yeah.
yeah. So we did the showcase that night, and then from that night on,
Took
it,
off. I
it, it
remember. I
took
was
off.
there.
Yeah, it took off,
Me,
man.
Dion, and Vendel drove up to come
Yep,
support you because you and DJ were playing, and it was
yep.
your first gig, and we drove to New York to
Dwayne
come see
came.
y'all.
That's dope.
Dwayne Wright was
Dwayne,
there. Yep.
Dwayne Wright came.
Yep.
Carlin White.
We got pictures. We got pictures with
Yep,
everybody.
yep.
And
They
Wow.
came. They
Yo.
came through, man. You know what I'm
and
saying? And
Mel was cool enough to be she was cool enough as an aspiring artist to still take pictures with us and hang around and like
yeah,
kick it with
That's
us
and
and
dope.
like
and
yeah,
she remained that way. That's
yeah,
one of the reasons why I love playing. I love playing for Mel because a lot of artists, and you already know a lot of artists, you don't see them until they hit the stage. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or rehearsal, and sometimes 9 times out of 10 in rehearsal you don't even see them. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm
yeah,
saying? So, but Mel was a hands-on, like we ate together, we did everything together. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Everything together. You know what I'm saying? But it was my went overseas. We was overseas a lot. We was overseas more than we were in the States.
Yeah, you had she had a huge overseas following.
Yeah, she was huge overseas, man,
Yeah.
and a wonderful experience, man. I got to experience, see other bands, and
Yeah.
meet other musicians from
Name
overseas
some of the
and
people that you met.
things
Who did
like
you
that.
meet?
But
Who
like,
did you
yeah,
see?
man,
Oh, there goes their Wi-Fi. I knew when he couldn't hear me. I knew. Billy Powell said he came to see Darnell on that tour. Wow, that's right. Hopefully his Wi-Fi will be back soon. But yeah, man,
There it is.
there you go. All right.
yeah, I'm sorry, y'all,
Your Cash App should be going off soon. People are gonna start contributing to help you get
come
your
on,
Wi-Fi.
y'all, let's go. But yeah, man, it took off, man. I shared the stage with a lot of great
Yeah.
people, man. I
Man,
played
you
in
even
front
let
of
me cover for you. You even let me. You gave me
yeah,
my experience. I got to play at Live. Remember, you let me cover
yeah,
Wow.
for you when you got married.
yep,
I covered for Darnell 2 times with Mel, and
yep,
Wow.
I had a super dope experience. So
yeah,
that was
man,
dope, man. She was super
and
cool, and it was a fun experience, man.
yeah, man, just hung out with a lot of people, man, and you know,
Who are some of the musicians that you met on the road during that
uh,
experience?
Joey DeFrancisco.
Wow.
Actually, Joey, and I got a story about that. Joey DeFrancisco actually found Mel, because just to tell her like, yo, your drummer. He's
Really?
like, yo, I enjoyed you.
Wow.
He said, I enjoyed you. He said, your drummer. He said he's so musical. He was
Yeah.
like, he was playing what the band was playing, but he also was accenting what you were singing. Like he knew every. He's like he knew your
Yeah.
every move. He
Yeah.
knew like, and Mel called me like, Darnell, where you at? It was a big
Yeah.
jazz. It was a jazz festival in Miami.
Okay.
Y'all
Yeah.
know them jazz festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably Jazz in the Garden.
Yeah, I think yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, it's huge. So
Hmm.
she found me and was like, Joey DeFrancisco, where are you at? You need to
Yeah.
get here. He's raving about you right now. Like, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But one of my greatest moments was in Switzerland. Did a
Talk that
show,
talk, D.
did a show in Switzerland with Mel, and the next day we're on the plane in the
Mm-hmm.
morning. You know, everybody got the morning papers and whatever. And Michael Michelle came to me like, yo, D, there's a write up about you in the paper.
Oh
I said,
wow.
and the Switzerland
Wow,
paper, yeah,
yo.
yeah,
Wow.
and was saying they was talking about the show last night, talking about
Yeah.
Mel,
Wow.
and they said Mel. Then they said Mel's powerhouse drummer. They put on the
Uh-huh.
show last night, and they said had my name Darnell Altman. You know what I'm saying? And the
Wow.
Wow,
paper
dude.
like, and I
Do you
couldn't
have a
believe.
copy of that?
No, that's the one
Come
thing I
on,
regret.
Darnell.
That's the one thing I regret, man. Like I was so excited
We gotta
and
find it. Do you know the
He
name of the
probably could get
paper?
it.
We can get
yeah,
that. We gotta
yeah,
get that
yeah,
because your kids have to see that.
yeah, exactly. And I couldn't believe it, man. I was so proud. You know what I mean? A little, it's a little kid from the east end of Bridgeport, man.
Yeah,
Hmm.
man.
You know what I'm saying? Made the Switzerland paper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was a very proud moment, man. Proud moment for me, man. And just like I had a lot of great experience. I could be here all day,
Yeah.
all night talking about it. You know what I'm saying? And I got to tell y'all one more funny story. Um, one more funny, and let me hurry up for my internet give up. So, yo, so we did what's his name? Neil. We did Neil's Grammy party.
Wow.
Everybody there, like you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, like chilling, and dude from The Blind Side was with us. The star, the big dude, Michael
Yeah.
Orr, that played
Yeah.
Michael Orr. He was with us because he knew us because a month before that he was chilling with us when we did the Monique show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm.
saying, and we met him then. So
Yeah.
he was with us that night. We chilling, boom, 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 and afterwards, Terrence, what's my man that was on 106 and Park, the host.
Oh, Terrence J.
Yeah,
We're
what's her name?
free.
We're free.
Free.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
AJ. AJ and free,
AJ,
right?
yeah, AJ, no, not AJ and free.
Terrence.
The one. Yeah, Terrence.
Hmm.
Him.
Terrence and
He,
Roxy.
yeah, yeah. He was coming to our show. Yeah, Terrence and Roxy. Yeah. he used to come to some of our shows. So
Right.
we knew each other.
Right.
And I remember I flew back early. DJ and them stayed behind in LA. I flew back early because I think I had to do something a show with you for praise. So I flew back early, and on my plane, Terrence was on my plane. Matter of fact, Terrence, Black Eyed Peas, all of us on the
Wow.
same
Wow.
plane.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
So we land, and when we get out, me and Terrence started talking, and when we get off the plane, and I'm like wondering like why is he waiting? Come to find out, he's waiting for Gabrielle Union. Right.
Wow.
I didn't know Gabrielle Union was on our plane. So
That's dope.
so when she got off the plane, I'm looking like, wow, that's Gab. He was like, hey, this is
That's
my
your
man
second
Don.
time meeting Gab, though. Remember, the first time we met
Yeah,
Gab was at the Stellars.
exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So
Finish.
so he was like, yo, this is my man Darnell. He was the one that was playing for Melanie Fiona last night. And she said, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She said, I enjoyed y'all. Y'all did your thing. Boom, boom, boom. So we talking, but we walking through the airport. So of course, walking through the airport, all eyes
Yeah. Why
are
you with
on
these two stars? Yeah.
right.
It's Gabrielle Union,
Yeah,
Terrence J, and Darnell.
yeah, right, exactly. And Darnell. So everybody just looking, people snapping pictures while we walking.
Yeah.
So now, mind you, reality hits me when I get back to baggage claim because so we walk in, we get the baggage claim. Of course, their drivers and stuff got signs
Yeah.
waiting for them.
Right.
So
Wow.
so we all say bye to each other. You know what I'm saying? They go to their drivers. Of course, I'm waiting for my ride. Like, but but while I'm waiting, people was coming up to me snapping pictures.
Yeah. They wanted to know who you
Like
were.
yeah,
Yeah.
they just off that they snapping pictures
Paparazzi.
Wow.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and, and, and just like so when my ride get there, all these people around me and Jenna, she was like, "What's going on?" I said, "Just drive. I'll explain to you later. Just drive. But yeah, man, you would have thought I was Martin Lawrence or somebody
Yeah.
just because of that, man. Like it's all types of crazy, and we'll know it's all types of crazy stories like that, man.
Hmm.
We'll be here all night. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, but like I just want like people to know like a lot of crazy things, like stories and people you meet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, man, and and they respect who's real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was never a starstruck type dude. Like, oh my god, like, nah, I'm gonna talk to you normal. I'm gonna respect
Hmm.
what you do, but I'm gonna talk to you normal. And 9 times out of 10, the
Hmm.
artists and famous people, they want to be around people like that.
Yeah.
So that leads
Normal
me to my
people.
next. That leads me to my next
You know
question:
what I'm
is the
saying?
artist your friend? Because y'all both have played for people, artists that were cool, and then artists that weren't. How do you handle that,
Right,
Will?
So coming into the industry, that was one of the first things that I was told. Like, never get cool with the artist. The artist is
right,
not your friend.
Yeah.
Play your position, do what you're supposed to do, and get out the way.
Right.
right.
And so, my first tour, that kind of all went down the drain. I
So
mean,
Faith from Brick City, right? She a
yeah, it
homegirl.
all went down the drain.
Yeah,
It was
She a
like one of
Jersey
the
girl.
things where, yo, we was following instructions, but then she was like, yo, like, I'm trying to chill with y'all. Why y'all won't come? Like,
Yeah.
I want y'all to come
right,
to the after parties. Like, what's going on?
yeah,
And so finally Kern came. He's like, yo, she wanted us to come, so we gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those things to where it turned out to like she wanted us there every night, like the party
Yeah.
was,
right.
and she wanted
Yep,
us to have a good time. And
Yeah.
so
yeah,
it literally turned out to where we would go to after parties with her all the time, and she became the big sis.
Yeah.
Like literally, like she became our big sister. So um it was hard to follow those instructions, but that's an artist who's cool like that. But then I went on to an artist where like I say for instance Lauren Hill. She's not that
Mm.
way.
No.
It
right,
was more so like, yo, when you see me, call me Miss Hill,
Miss Hill.
and
Yeah.
don't speak to me unless I speak to you type thing.
Yeah.
right,
And kind of just like, it wasn't that experience. So you just kind of got to each situation kind of learn what it is, and just
right,
play your part with it.
Yeah.
And
right,
that's and a lot of time that's what can make or break you. Just knowing how to move, and I say
right,
I credit Bridgeport for a lot of stuff. Like a lot of people like, yo, how you been in it for so long. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
yo, when you from where we grew up, you kind of know how to move. Like,
Yeah.
nobody had to explain. If you see somebody acting funny, you kind of know, like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna keep my distance, but
because we're not gonna play ourselves.
We're not gonna play ourselves.
And we not them Hollywood type dudes. Like we come from real gritty. You know what I mean? Was real. You know what I'm saying? No fake. You know what I mean? We ain't them type of dudes.
Yeah, so, it's just one of them type of things. Like I even had a situation where I had an artist who, from off, like as soon as he came in the room, it was an issue with me. Like yo, I just said hi. Like you know what I'm saying? And it was just it kind of sucked because I looked up to this person as a mentor. Right. And it's just kind of like, dang, like, when you get, sometimes it's better not to know to get cool with the artist, or
right.
You really get to see how they are as people.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
that's crazy because the tag along with Will saying, Mel, you knew from jump Mel was the type of person like she wanted to, get to know you, want to be around. Like, we did everything together.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Mel, we like he said, like with Faith, we did everything. Party, talk, like we'll come to Mel, the type that come to your room and knock on your door, like, yo, what y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, let's go eat, let's go do something, whatever.
Yeah.
But when Don Omar, my crazy experience, this is one of my crazy
Don Omar,
Don Omar, if y'all don't know who Don Omar is, he had that song Dale Dale Man Dale, and he was also one of the actors on the Fast and Furious. The two Spanish dudes that was always arguing.
Wow, yo.
Yeah, the more heavy set one, that's Don Omar. So I played with him. What happened is Chris Mercedes, shout out to my boy Chris.
Shout out Chris.
Which was he's the bass player with me with Melanie Fiona. He was also Don Omar's MD. Mm-hmm. So he was like, yo, the drummer can't make it. Boom, boom, boom. Yo, can you do this gig? Now, Chris, if you know Chris Mercedes, he's a laid back type dude. Like he's the type that just tells you just what you need to know. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And not, so I'm thinking like, all right, it's gonna be a little small, quiet, not knowing what I was about to get myself into. So yeah, like his budget is on another level. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You stepped into the reggaeton world.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's huge.
And the first gig was 90,000 people in the crowd. We was in Dominican Republic. Matter of fact, Dominican Republic. Matter of fact, that was the same time they did that movie, Piranhas, with Vin Rames.
Yeah.
Because Vin Rames came to the concert. He actually came in our dressing room. He came, Don Omar here. Is Don Omar here? You know what I'm saying? Yo, had a... Anyway, when I met Don Omar, because we rehearsed. Now, I had to learn. Now, mind you, everything is in Spanish. Yeah. I'm the only black dude in the band. Everybody is Spanish. I'm talking about Spanish.
Like Spanish speaking Spanish, right?
Exactly. Speaking Spanish. And the talk back, we got the talk backs in our ears.
And it's
telling us like, all right, verse, go to verse. All right, chorus. Everything is in Spanish.
Stop it, Darnell.
So I had to learn a 2-hour show. Yeah. I had to learn.
God bless you.
Yeah. That's where that Harding High School education came in.
Yo.
That's that East End of Bridgeport showed up.
Yo. Yeah, yo. I was like, that's what your Harding got a magnet side. Like, yo, I had to. Yo, for real, I had to learn a 2-hour show and a day. Not even a day. It's like 7.5 hours.
In Espanol.
And it's in Spanish. So
wow, that's crazy.
First of all, when I did the rehearsal in Manhattan, I'm thinking like half of the band. That's the whole band, and the band was big already. Yeah. The whole band didn't even come to rehearsal, yo.
Wow.
He had a whole horn section. I'm talking about violins.
Orchestra.
Orchestra. He had an orchestra. He had 2 guitar players. He had 3 or 4 percussionists.
Huge
He had
budget.
like 2, 3 keyboard players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Two like yo, I'm sitting here like, and I'm looking at Chris like he had his own with the fire
Pyro, right?
pyro. He had his
Hmm.
own team.
Yeah.
It took a whole 55 passenger bus to transport us.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
crazy.
That's just band.
That
You know what I'm
projection's
saying?
out of this world, bro.
Right.
Wow.
And Chris told me none of this. So
We gotta find
Darnell,
these clips, Darnell.
yeah,
You
I
gotta remember
got
the
you.
name of the festival so we can look it up.
So we did this donut, yo, bang, bang, bang. But every time I do the hits, the
The
fire
pyro
and
went off.
some fire shooting off. So Will, we didn't rehearse none of this. So I'm jumping, yo. I'm sitting there like, boom, like, yo. Whole time I'm playing, I'm looking at Chris like,
Oh my God, yo.
like
Oh my
really.
goodness.
And but when I met him, but when I met Dynamar, like Will said, you're taught certain rules and certain stuff on the road.
Yeah.
Chris was like, "Hey, this is our drummer," because I didn't rehearse with him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is our sound check.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is our drummer Darnell that's filling in, boom boom boom, and then we did. I said, hey, I gave him one of these, like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. You know what I'm saying? Because like Will said, you can't be all, hey, oh man, like because
Yeah.
you don't know him like that yet. But yo, he actually came to me. Dynamar came to me and just grabbed me and hugged me,
Yeah.
held me like he said, "Welcome to the team, welcome
Yeah.
to the team, Papa." Like yo, yeah, yo, like when I mean he was so cool, man,
Yeah.
and down to earth, man. But I'm not gonna lie, man, that was one of the most scariest things, man. Yeah, scary situations because it was different for me. I never did nothing like that. I mean, this is
Yeah.
reggaeton, man, and it's all
Right.
in Spanish, and I got
Yeah.
90,000 people. 90,000 people. Like it was so. You will know when there's so many people out there that
Hmm.
when a fight break out, they just let it die out. They don't even try to break it up. It's too many people.
Don't nobody fight at Will shows. Nah.
Yo,
It's all
yo,
lovers.
With Dominican Republic, they don't care, man. And
Yeah.
matter of fact, driving through, getting in the arena. Now, this Dominican Republic, like something could go off at any time. The soldiers had guns taller than me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So we're
Wow.
driving in the arena, and we had crowds on both sides. They trying to separate the crowd. The crowds was actually shaking the car, fam.
Wow.
So we rocking like this,
Yeah.
like, and I'm sitting there like, yo, I ain't signed up. I ain't signed
I'm
up
just
for.
trying to make my money go
Yeah,
back home.
because you know
Dude.
what happened in those those different countries. The rules are
Yeah.
different out there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
rules are different. A lot of people don't realize when you go to different countries, the rules are different. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I'm
I got you.
shook.
That's an
I ain't gonna
amazing
lie.
story, D. Yeah.
Shook, yo, shook to get in the arena. Like
Uh-huh.
it was a crazy experience, man. It was like one of those like when you see on TV Michael, people on their shoulders of men like have
Yeah.
their shirts taking their shirts off and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I played in front of big crowds, but never like night,
Yeah.
never nothing like that, man. So it was a wonderful experience for me, man. Wonderful and
That's
different.
that's
You know what I
awesome,
mean?
man. Let's I'm gonna bring it home because we've been on here for 2 hours and we could go for
Yeah.
another two.
I see.
Um,
Yeah,
I mean, we're gonna have to do a part two, but
we could do
um,
definitely.
quick question: biggest difference between doing a secular gig and a church gig, doing the, playing for a
You want
gospel
to go,
artist
Will?
and a,
Yeah.
and an R&B artist or secular
Literally, I
artist.
I remember same thing on our first gig, man. With Faith, man, like somebody like Kern, who MDs, like at that time he was literally MD and everything, and so there would be certain things that I would like that I would play that he'd just be like, yo, nah, this ain't the church scene, bruh. Like,
Yeah.
leave that there. This is this
Mm-hmm.
is this is us, and that's them. Like, and even what I remember
Right.
him telling Jazz, like certain chords that Jazz was playing, he would tell him,
Yeah.
like, yo, leave the gospel stuff out of it. Like, this is
Yeah.
this is this
Yeah.
is R&B hip hop. Like, make it feel like that. So
Yeah.
there are and some at one point things change,
Mm-hmm.
but when I first came in, it was just kind of sticking to the script.
Yeah.
Right.
Sticking to the script, playing the record, and if they ask you to play anything outside of that, then play it.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was we want the same thing every single night. Like what you played
Right.
last night is what you gonna play the next night. It ain't no.
They want to
I
hear
just
the
feel
record.
like playing. I want to come in and play something different, or I'm gonna play
Right.
a feel here. It's like that's the fastest way to get yourself a plane ticket, out
Right.
of there. So
Yeah.
I learned, quick. And it was like, yo, play your part, and that's it, man. And then, so there is a big difference to me, and playing secular and gospel. I mean, gospel is more freelance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little more freedom. It's a little more open, right?
Yeah, it's free. There's no right or wrong in gospel.
Right.
And nowadays, gospel is like fusion.
Yeah.
Like you listen to a gospel. There's a million intros and
Right.
transitions and hits and breaks. It's like, yo, like you got to chart this out.
Super overproduced. Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it's tricky. Like we'll say, gospel is freelance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like we're on the road, you got to stay within. When you're in a secular, you got to stay within, some boundaries. Yeah. And the reason why I say it's tricky is because even though gospel is freelance, we were taught, don't forget who or what you're playing for. You're not playing for self. You're playing for to glorify God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To where secular, even though you have to stay within boundaries, you can still. That's your time to express yourself. You could put on the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You wear. Well, you know what I'm talking about. You can't really put on the show like that in church because you're taking
too much self.
Right, itself. You're glorifying God. To where on R&B you can dance more. You can you know what I'm saying? You can showmanship.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So for me, I always make sure I have boundaries between the two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's nothing like playing church. I don't care what other genre of music I play.
Yeah.
Nothing like playing gospel music and playing in church. And matter of fact, playing in church makes you a better drummer because Will could tell you when you not in church playing for a while and you come back.
Oh, dude, it's tough.
It's tough.
It's
tough. Those 3.5, 4 years I was with Mel, when I came back to church, I almost cried because I thought I lost it.
Yeah.
And I remember Mike saying, when I heard him saying one time when he was on the road heavy and he came back, he was like, "Yo, kid, I ain't do this church stuff in a minute, yo." So
he said that. He just said it right now. He said same for me.
Yeah.
He just wrote it in.
Yeah, I remember Mike saying that
because Mike came home from the 8701 and did the Youthful Praise album and had to go to all this crazy stuff that Eric was creating. After he was locked for 3 months, on the road. So it definitely changes you.
And during that session, every time they shout, Mike played the song. Every time they shout, he be like, "Yo, kid, nah, yo, no."
Mike would get up on the shout music so quick.
Your wind is different, man.
Come on, yo. Yeah.
Your wind is different, man.
Yeah. Your endurance is different, right?
Yeah, dude.
Exactly, man.
Church is aggressive. Like R&B, your show. Certain points that you have to push a little bit, but it ain't 90 minutes of a straight aggression.
Right. It ain't 90 minutes of building, right?
Exactly, yo.
Yeah.
Now it's even more different. Now it's just you don't even need a snare. Now it's all time. You know what I'm saying? Be wearing me. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Be wearing me out, man.
Yeah.
I gotta keep.
That's what Mike said. Church is like heaven now.
Yeah, man.
Thanks to CCM.
Yeah, I mean, I like CCM, man, but it's wearing me out too. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100.
Nah, we're unanimous. We're unanimous on that. What genre do you love playing the most?
Ooh, I'll still say gospel, man.
I was about to say you was a jazz head for a little while, Will.
Yeah.
Well, I get into a lot of different styles of music. A lot of times we get stuck, and it's something that I learned from school too. It's like, when I went in, they test me, and so it was like all the stuff that I was stronger at. They was like, okay, we're gonna throw that out the window. This is
Yeah.
what you're weakest at. So
Yeah,
we're
they
gonna
gotta test
build
you.
on
Yeah.
this.
Right.
And so as musicians, sometimes we'll stay playing the stuff that we're strong at. Like that's why I try to share with younger drummers that's coming up. Like we go to sheds, and you'll shed for 2 hours on stuff that you know you can play.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
what are you really learning at this point?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so why not work on something that you're weak on so you can be a level drummer? And so
Right.
that's what forced me to start listening to other music.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, like so I got into a lot of the Afrobeat stuff, Fela Femi Kuti,
Yeah.
the rhythms, you know, different rhythms, and you know, and then the jazz stuff force your ears to, you know, it's more musical. And so that's what kind of turned me on to like listening to different musicians and, you know, different styles of music. So I try not to get too lost in one style.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dope. Darnell, you still with us or no? See, frozen over there. Saints, we need to donate to Darnell's Cash App again.
Yo,
Oh,
I'm
there you
here.
go.
My
All right.
bad. Yo, but
Darnell, you
yeah,
got to get
but-
off that business Wi-Fi, man. You got to get some streaming Wi-Fi, bro. You
Yeah,
like
I-
movies too much to be.
I
I know
know.
your movies buffer at home all the time. You got to.
No, actually, that's what I'm saying. My TV don't be buffing, yo. My phone tripping, yo.
It's the
My
hat,
T-
yo.
Oh, nah. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Follow the star.
that lead. No, but yo, but
Favorite genre.
gospel, definitely
Okay.
gospel, man. I you know, it's everything I am
Mm-hmm.
because of, you know, everything I am is because of gospel, man. My roots.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I love it, man. And when gospel, matter of fact, Mike, I owe Mike
Clemens, boy.
All three
Mike
of us,
Clemens,
man.
because
Listen.
when gospel started switching over to that CCM, Mike already had a heads up. He knew that stuff already.
Yeah.
And I remember we was doing the Exalted album. And I remember
In Baltimore, right?
live in Baltimore. We was doing that album, and that's when you first started crossing over to the CCM stuff.
Yeah.
And at first, like, me and Eric, Mike was talking some stuff, and me and Eric was like, matter of fact, me and Eric was just talking about this not too long ago. We thought Mike was crazy on some stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? And I remember we used to get breaks. We used to get break, you know, rehearsing for the session. They'll take breaks. You know, they'll go leave, go grab something to eat, whatever. And I remember one time Mike stayed. I stayed behind with Mike. First of all, we was putting heads.
Changing heads.
We put changing head. You know, Mike like, yo, stand on this time, yo, stand on this time for me. Stand on this time.
He know better than that.
Drums.
He know better than that. He's a blow dryer, yo.
Yeah. He's like, yo, stand on this time for me. Stand on this time. And that's when Mike first got big on Evan Head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Yeah. And so Mike started teaching me, you know what I'm saying, how to switch up, you know, playing, you know what I'm saying, how to certain stuff to play. It sounds like you're doing more than what you're really doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your work. It sounds like it's more, but you're working less harder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like some stuff, how to play not so much the rim, because you know we like gospel. We like put that rim, that pop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
crank snares.
right? And you got to play the middle of the snare.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even as far as like,
but
Be more musical, right?
But that goes both ways too.
Yeah.
That goes both ways, because the same way that we tune drums in church, you can't tune them on the road.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, that don't work for what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you know Melody Fiona was pop, so I couldn't have a snare that was just cranked.
You couldn't have a crank snare, no.
Yeah, it had to be right in between. You know what I'm saying? Right. And, you know, some shows I had another snare. I had a second snare. You know what I'm saying? Like to Will saying, you just got to know the artist you're playing for and what the music requires. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Some artists, you're not gonna go up there with a 10-piece drum set. Like it'll require all that. I mean, some dudes kill me like for gigs that don't require all that. Like
Yeah.
Will, you know what I'm talking? You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like yo, you got a 20-piece kid up there,
For
and you
ballot.
play for ballad. Yeah, he said thank you. You know what I'm
Cause
saying?
that's for them. That's for their own
Yeah.
Yeah,
doing
man.
their pictures and for the gram and all that stuff. So
Yeah, man.
let's bring this to a close, right? So let's say you guys have sustained. We're younger. We're in our 40s now, but we've had 20-year careers at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do people still call you Will? Why do they call you?
I think along the my journey, man, I've built a name for people to know that, if you call me, I'm gonna be consistent.
Yeah.
It's just about
Right.
being. A lot of people think it's about the plan. Like a lot of times, it's not about the plan. It's
Right.
it's
Yes.
it's more so of being able to
Right.
deal with,
Yes.
like, when you're on road, you're like living with people. Like, you know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
It's
Yeah.
it's 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 70% of just
Character, right?
being character
Yeah.
and just being
Yeah.
a good person. And
Yeah.
stress being on time. Like, time is everything. Like, people don't realize, like, and a lot of people ask me, they like, yo, why you didn't call me? Because I see how you are at home. Like, you
How you
can't be on
Exactly.
time. You
Wow.
can't be on time with this.
Exactly.
So, like, time is like a major thing.
Yeah.
And I learned that, like, being on the road with Mike, like that first tour,
Yeah.
that taught me everything. That one tour, it taught me everything I need to know about the road.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
I believe being on the road with Mike and Kern and all those guys, my first time,
Yeah.
I still live by those things that they showed me.
Yeah.
You had the
To this,
cheat code though, because you had
I had the cheat
amazing,
code. Yo, man.
amazing
Right.
mentors. You had Kern, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, man.
Mike
Right.
setting you up. Yeah, that's what's up.
So that's
Right.
that's what I think, man. It's just, I mean, nowadays it's just, people just want to know what they're gonna get when you come.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and the game's changed now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you get threatened. You know, oh,
Yeah.
yo, you can be replaced. Like,
Yeah.
you want to, make sure that you're respected too. Like, oh, we don't need you. There's 10 kids who want the position.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you can go get them kids, but they don't have the experience,
No.
and they're not gonna know how to move. Now you got to teach somebody everything that
Yeah.
I already know. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I believe that's what it is. And God, you know what I'm
Of
saying?
course. Yeah.
It's the favor of God, to be honest. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
times I get calls and I be like, well, they could have called X, Y, and Z. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just the favor of God, man.
Yeah. D, how do you feel about that? Why do you still get the
And
call?
we'll said a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it's 90% you traveling and living with people, and 10% you on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, your work ethic, you know what I'm saying, your attitude, you know what I'm saying, of course what you bring, you know what I'm saying, but people that want to be around you.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna get way more than a drummer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
Well,
know I'm
you
gonna have
definitely gonna get a laugh if they hire Darnell.
Most definitely.
You definitely gonna get some jokes. So that that's free. That's an add-on.
yeah. It's just and being professional, like Will said, on time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Time is listen. Time
Yeah.
time can mess you up on the road if you ain't
Literally.
on time. Mess
Yeah.
you you know what I'm saying? Miss flight. You
Yeah.
can you know what I'm saying? Sound checks. And,
Yeah.
and, and this is money. This ain't church. It's not the regular church. This is money. Promoters, people putting money out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You messing with people money now. It's the game. The game is different.
Yeah.
And like Will said, it's so many people that went home and got somebody less talented
Yeah.
Hmm.
than them. You on your way home. You flying home and somebody's crossing the other
Yeah.
side, flying to take your spot.
Yeah.
All because you're not professional. And,
Yeah.
and, and, and like Will said, I had a lot of dudes say, "Oh, D, I want to do even now. I want to do the stuff that you will Chip, y'all been doing, all y'all." And I'm looking at them like, "Nah, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because it's only 8:30. It's only 8:30 and you complaining about going home.
Yeah.
You don't even want to stay here and rehearse. We were starting rehearsals at 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 9:30, whatever. And you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not like
No,
no work ethic. They think it's supposed to be handed to them. They just see the results of what we do, but don't understand what we went through to get there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Long rehearsals, disappointment. Like they heard us earlier, crying, getting dissed from people, having to pay dues.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even to the point where we were good enough and still getting lowballed with money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We all remember getting them little envelopes with, you know what I'm saying?
The
With
Love
love
change.
token.
envelopes.
Yeah.
The
The
love
love
offering.
love tokens, like
This ain't
no, like
much.
with,
This ain't
yeah,
much.
just
But
you walking
it,
around, you walking around just like no, I like that quiet money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but we paid our due. But it made us go hard. It built a work ethic in us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It made us professional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It made us professional, and that's what I want. A lot of like, especially this generation, to understand now.
Yeah.
It's not gonna just come to you. You gotta work for it.
Yeah.
There's no trust me. If there were shortcuts, we would have found them.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's my biggest thing. Like the
We would
YouTube
have found them.
generation, it's a different social media world.
Yeah,
It's totally different. We got to do part two, guys.
no doubt,
Whatever,
man.
man.
We
I'm
got to do
down.
part two because I don't want to keep you guys. Last question: how important is legacy to you? You guys are
Everything.
family men, so talk
Yeah,
about
It's
your relationship with your kids and how important you being there for your children is.
it's everything. Yeah, I was just my son is I'm like losing it. My son's about to graduate and go to
wow.
college in a few days,
Stop it,
man.
Will. Stop
Oh yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Oh,
man, and it's
Wow.
like it's all flashing. Like I'm thinking about it now, and it's like, yo, man, dang, like, dude, this kid's about to go to college. Like,
Dad.
wow. And so I thought about all the years that I traveled, but there's a lot of times where, I knew special things was going on
yeah.
here at home
Hmm.
that I needed to be here for the kids too,
Yeah.
and my family. And it's just like, yo, man, you got to really try to be there as much as you can, but building and raising your family for them to understand what you do,
Yeah.
Right.
explaining, and
Right.
when you are home, being available and making sure that they feel like they're important to you as well. It's
Right.
Absolutely.
like a something that I established as a tour musician. Like when I'm
Right.
on tour, I'm gone, but when I'm home, I'm a
I'm
family man,
home.
dude.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
my
Right.
time belongs to them.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
and like a lot of times I tell people too, when you get to the point where you understand that a lot of people like me on the road is that's fake. That's not real.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
Right.
reality. What's
Yeah.
reality is when I get off the plane and drive back to Bridgeport and Stratford,
Yeah.
Right.
and
Right.
that's reality. This is the real life. I don't care how many people ask for autographs or
Yeah.
scream your name on stage. That ain't reality. Like
Right.
it's
Jonathan
hard.
DeBosch just told me that. He said that keeps you humble. He said that's the grounding. He said I
Yeah,
could be.
man.
He said I was at Oprah's house. He
Hmm.
told me a story. He said I was at Oprah's house. He said, but when I came home, my wife was like, "You need to cut the grass. You need to take the trash out.
Literally,
The kids got to go to school in the morning."
literally. Yeah.
Like he said that keeps him humble. He said no matter what he's done, who he's with, in the presence of those great people, when he comes home, his family, it keeps him humble. We want Chinese food tonight,
Yep.
Dad. We
Yeah.
want pizza tonight, and
Yeah.
and, and you go right into that phase.
You go into that mode.
Right.
Yeah,
And so,
Right.
so like the legacy part is, like my thing is, at the end of the day, if I've done all of this, my entire career, and then at the end of the day have nothing to leave my children, then what was it all for?
what was it
You know,
for? Oof.
Right.
so that's the point where I'm at now, to where,
Yeah,
okay, you've done this, like, now it's time to move over and start making time to, the legacy of your family,
yes.
and that's what it's all about.
I think
I've
that's where we
always,
all are at, right? At this,
Yeah.
at
we're
this
at
point, it's,
midlife, right? So we're at this
yeah,
point, like, yo, we're 40. Like, what?
yeah,
Like, what are we doing? What are we
yeah,
Right.
leaving our kids? And I think
yeah,
What am I
Shout out
doing?
to what am I doing? Shout out to Mike, for being ahead of the game. Mike took
Yeah.
his little break and set himself up. Mike
Mm-hmm.
always was a hustler, but
He
now
always
like
was a hustle. Let
but
me get a two. Let me get a two-way, Mike. Let me get a two-way, Mike.
Yo, kid.
shout out to
Yeah.
Marcus Allen. Shout out to Marcus Allen on here as well. Marcus
Yes, sir.
Oh,
always doing different ventures. And I think at
Right.
this point of our life, we're all trying to take care of our families. Like I don't care about nothing else
Yeah.
but my family, dog. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't care
Yeah.
about anything else. Like I play drums because I can, and it's a gift from God. I write songs because I can. I take pictures because I can. But everything I do is for them, yo. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so, and
100%.
how you feel, D?
And y'all know me. Y'all know I'm an old soul
Mm-hmm.
to my
Yeah.
heart. Like I was preaching reality on the road.
Yeah.
So for me coming home, transitioning from the road Darnell to the home Darnell was easy for me because DJing. I'm gonna tell you, I'm on the road. While we're on the road, I'm preaching reality. Like yo,
Yeah.
all this is good. Make your connections, network. That's cool. I said, yo, at the end of the night, we're hired help.
Yeah. It can
We're
easily be replaced.
and
yo.
it'll be easily be replaced. Do not get it twisted. Like we're the artist. And
And the older we get, the harder it is to stay because, like Will said, you got a 17-year-old coming for your neck.
Yeah, and
you gonna
trust me.
do?
Yeah, exactly. And trust me, there's benefits. Don't get me wrong. There's benefits to being out in the road. You know what I'm saying, and seeing the world and all that. Don't get me wrong, but you still got to keep, in perspective, who you are, like what you're there for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're hired to play for the artist. You're not the artist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so for me coming home, for me, I started late with my kid. So
Right.
I basically was done really
Yeah. Yeah.
with the road when I had my first son. You know what I'm saying? But
Even gigging though, right? You had to slow down because you still you still the man locally. I'm not even gonna trip like you're not getting calls out of the, but you pick and choose, right? Because I think right now, like you said, time is so valuable to me that I'm not running at everything anymore.
I'm not. No.
I
has
got
to
to be
make
home.
sense.
It has to make sense.
It has to make
It
sense.
has to
And I
make-
think
it
these
ha-
kids don't
yeah.
realize that now.
Yeah.
Yo,
It has to make sense. Yeah.
honestly, COVID was like the wake up call.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yo, oh shoot, like
Yeah.
I can't go tour. I can't make
Exactly.
no bread. Like, wait,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? And so once I started teaching and during COVID, and now that's my thing. It's like, yo, like, nah, that's where I'm headed next. The whole
Yeah,
teaching. Yeah, that's
Before
it.
that, we was like, yo, hop on this flower, yo. Hop on this flower.
Yo, we can get 5,000.
Yeah, we get 5,000. Yo, we was trying to get money.
Oh God, that loom, yeah.
Yeah, hop on this
Man.
flower, yo.
Everybody was trying to jump on them joints. Yeah.
But Will's right, man. That COVID really changed a lot, man. It gave you time to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
COVID showed us what was important. Like Will
Yeah.
said, it showed us what was important, and I think it messed some people up that weren't able to catch up and prepare.
Yeah.
I saw some GoFundMe's for musicians. I'm like, dog,
Yeah,
get a
exactly.
job.
It got real.
Exactly.
It got real. out
Yo.
there,
You know what I'm saying? But like,
Yo.
it ain't our responsibility to take care of your house. If we
Yeah.
gotta take care of our own house, I'm sure Will made ends meet.
Yo.
Darnell made ends meet. I had to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Chip could tell you, yo.
yeah.
Chip could tell you, I was on tour with Melanie Fiona and went and got a job at Home Depot.
Listen, they don't
You know what I'm saying?
understand, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people was like, yo, they were like, D, you touring the world. You touring the world. Why are you getting a job at Home Depot? Like what? I said, because
the bills don't stop.
I said the bills won't stop. And then
That gig sure will.
and then I said, when this gig is over and I go for an interview,
Mm-hmm.
the interviewer is gonna want to know, okay, what's this large gap in your resume?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't think. They don't think like that. Life after the road.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What's this big gap in your resume? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I didn't even work that much at Home Depot, but just to
Yeah.
have it on file, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just be thinking ahead, being smart, man, because I knew like I want a family, I want kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was always
That
I
work
was
ethic was instilled in
yeah,
you.
and I was
Yeah.
fortunate enough. Like God just gave me, and y'all know the God just gave me an old soul spirit to always just think ahead, man.
Yeah.
Just to always think ahead, always. You know what I'm saying? Always. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, but my son, I just want to still work ethic in him.
Yeah.
I
Raise them
work. I
right.
want him to see daddy going to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What he should be doing. You know what I'm saying, for his family. You know what I mean? I want him to be all he can be. I want him to choose what he want. You know. But
Yeah.
you see your daddy work and you know what I'm saying?
Well, how many kids do you have?
I got 3 boys.
3 boys.
Mm-hmm.
And Darnell, how many children do you have?
Two.
Two.
I have a boy and a girl.
That's what's
Darnell
up.
and Olivia.
Amazing, man. Well,
Yeah, my babies.
I'll stop here. It's amazing to chat it up with chop it up with my boys, man.
Yeah, man, I love y'all dudes.
I
I
love
love
you
you too,
too, man.
man.
You
The
already
older
know.
we get, the more lovey-dovey we get,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Pause. But
Yeah.
like
Life is precious.
life is precious, and I think over this time we lost so many people, and it's just like it makes us want to really
Yeah.
reach out to those and like stay close. Shout out to Jazz, shout out to DJ,
Right.
shout out to all our people from back home, Eric Davis, Mike Davis,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
all the homies Smoke, and rest in peace Martin, rest in peace Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are major people that
Steve,
were
rest in peace, Steve. Steve Brown.
Steve
Yeah.
Brown. Yep, shout out to Dave Brown and DJ and
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
Kev, Doobie, Billy,
Kev, Doobie,
Doobie,
Brandon,
yeah.
Ski,
Yep.
everybody.
Dexter, yeah,
Yeah,
Steve. All y'all
Yep.
cats, Ace, Midas.
yeah.
Yo,
Yeah,
Everybody,
man.
all
Jason
them
Chapman.
dudes, man.
Yeah,
It's
we got
crazy.
some heat. I
We
mean,
got some heat.
we
Connecticut
got some
got some
Yeah.
heat.
heat, man.
I don't know where
Definitely.
Jamal been. Shout out to Jamal.
Yeah, man.
We got
Yeah.
some talent. Adam. We got some
Yep.
session cats, and just because we're a small state doesn't mean that we
Will
don't.
Davis.
Will
Yeah.
Davis killing the
Yo,
game right
man,
now.
Yeah,
listen.
he killing it, yo.
He
Yeah,
killing the
he
game
killing it.
on
Yeah.
2 instruments. You know what I mean? Will
Yeah.
Yeah,
play keys
man.
and drums.
And
So
producing.
and producing, right? So shout out to James Carney. All these
All
guys
these
who are
dudes are
Yep.
amazing, dude.
Shannon and Will, like
Will
big
Johnson,
Marcus Allen,
Dontrell. Yeah.
I want to give
yeah,
a shout out to
Brian Lord.
my band, well, Brandon Hall, Montel,
That's right. Shout
Dave
out to those
Porter,
guys. Yep.
Man.
Prashant.
I
Where is
get a chance to
Prashant,
play
man?
with the crew.
Prashant, huh?
Oh, you play with Prashant every Sunday. Oh, you play with
That's right.
You play with
Yeah.
Prashant too. Wow.
Danny Gibbs.
Oh,
Gibbs.
Will checked out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate everybody's time. Will's phone must have died. But Darnell, I
Yeah.
love you. Will, I love you. Thank you guys for your
Love you,
time.
fam.
And I'm gonna let you go, D. Thank you for your time, and
All
I'll
right.
reach out to you later. But thank you all, everyone, for hanging out with me tonight. It was an amazing night. I just want to let you know that next week we will be recording episode 5 of the In the Pocket with Chip G podcast, and you don't want to miss it because we'll be interviewing the super producer himself, Troy Oliver. Troy has worked with Chris Brown, Jennifer Lopez, Pop Smoke, Genuine, Tamar Braxton, Moneybagg Yo, Jessica Simpson, Future, you name it. He is a Grammy-nominated producer. He's from New Haven, Connecticut, now residing in Atlanta, Georgia. And he is a super, super cool dude. And it's actually the day before his birthday. His birthday is on the 9th, so we're going to have a pre-party on the 8th. And we're going to talk to my man Troy, one of the most talented people you'll ever meet, one of the most cool people you'll ever meet. And he's going to tell us his story about how he sustained a positive career in music for the last 25 years. So you don't want to miss that. Next Wednesday, June 8th, we'll be right back on this platform on Facebook and YouTube talking to an iconic member or iconic musician, Troy Oliver. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. You know it's Dallas Cowboys all day. Love to my brothers Will and Darnell. Thank you for the opportunity. I love everybody. Subscribe to the podcast In the Pocket with Chip G. This audio will be available on all the streaming outlets, and you can go to the replay on Facebook, YouTube, and watch the past episodes as well. Subscribe. Thank you for everything, and I'll talk to you guys later. And keep rocking, keep supporting us, and I'll holler at you later. Peace.